Their car culture has been decimated by stupid takeovers and CHP and stuff. And I'm seeing it up here right now. Like, I'm seeing the best person in the game for cars and coffee is South OC Cars and Coffee.
Why are they the best? How would you like to be remembered?
Car I would never own again.
On that note of people, how would you describe respect in the car community, and how can we cultivate more of that to keep things healthy? Because earlier you were mentioning how, you know, some members of the community might be giving everybody else a bad reputation with what they do and whatnot. How would you clarify what respect would entail for the community?
I keep it very simple.
Yeah.
I've had upwards of 12 cars in my collection at one time. You know?
How do you see the community navigating the police presence, or how can we collaborate and have less friction with police, you'd say?
I personally feel that they will find their way in okay, that's a good question. I want people that are cool people, that I like hanging around. You know, and that's kind of where 916 is. You know, I call it juggling type A's, right? Like it's all egos, it's all business owners. They're all used to being in charge. So it's all about finding the cool group. In reality, our group of, you know, our core 20, 30, 916 guys, there's really no reason on paper why we all should be friends. Like at all.
What do you mean?
Well, like, I say this to anybody, you know, like some people would be like, oh, I'm bringing a hypercar, can I get a deal or can I get it free? No, nobody gets a deal. Nobody gets in free. Contrary to whatever else. Every sponsor that's there, they paid their way. Every car that's rolled onto the grass, they paid their way.
If you got a hypercar, why are you still asking for a deal or a discount?
You would be amazed. Those are the worst ones, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not saying everybody, you know, there's some uber generous, you know, like probably one of the most known hypercar collectors in our area is Jeff. Jeff is super generous with the group, and he's always down to do different things. But so I'm not pinpointing anybody. I'm just saying that you'd be surprised as a whole, more hypercar owners are looking for the deal just because they have the car. This isn't the event for them. We'll see what the total is. But
less quantity, more quality, or does it really matter?
It's all about quality. Yeah. And not car quality. People quality. That's what it's all about for me. You know,
So you as the event organizer and founder and planner, talk to us a little bit more about what goes into it. What is normal?
Yeah.
That's something I'd always, you know, think about when I was younger, that made me take the decisions that I did to do the things that I did. Is what's normal for you is not my normal, is not her normal, is not the other person's normal across the world. So who decided or dictated what the standard is?
Because I just got the Ferrari and COVID happened. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I want to go to Car Week. And I got the group and I'm like, let's go, you know, like, let's do it.
And you guys weren't buying any of the propaganda or the lockdown or any of that stuff?
That wasn't us. And that's, you know, wasn't my belief, you know, as far as, I think pretty much everything's been proven at this point now. It doesn't need to be discussed, but
it's a conspiracy fact, not a theory at this point. Well, I'm glad. I didn't know that about you. I'm very happy to know that.
Well, and during the, I can remember that was 2020 had a lot of dumb things with it for COVID and everything else, but the lack of people out in the world was awesome. We went to Car Week. We made our own Car Week because Car Week was shut down. I'm very cautious of the people that I bring to an event and the fact of, do they represent myself and my morals and what I feel like is good at a car event? And if you don't, you're not rolling with us for very long, right? 916 Exotics, you know, we're not technically a club.
How did it even start?
Okay.
That's one of the things that I saw. I was like, okay, there's Super Sunday, And then there's also the monthly events like Euro Sunday.
Yeah.
If we bring the events, for example, like the quail, if we, for example, make another version of it here called the elk.
Yeah.
And then another thing for 4x4 cars. And then we can bring the manufacturers to Sacramento, and we have a very beautiful Capitol building.
Yeah.
Like they have Exotics on Broadway, we can have Exotics on Capitol.
Yeah.
Every single thing that they have there, we can just diffuse some of the pressure that they have and bring some of it to Sacramento so people get the experience.
I don't disagree that it's a potential. I think, but there are so many residents that absolutely freaking despise it. I mean, just I can't think of how many times I've seen residents get into issues with other. I think he wasn't sure how we were going to handle it, right? I mean, you got to think like this one cop just stopped the entire freeway to pull over 20 plus cars. And I know that was his intention. His intention was to pull over every car that we had in the group. Okay. So, as he's writing our ticket, he looks at me, he's a big guy. And he pops his head in the window and he goes, "Feel free to get out and take pictures." I'm like,
that's why I asked you about his demeanor.
Yep. This was all PR.
Yeah.
100% publicity.
Yeah.
We made the news. Yeah. We made CHP's Instagram and Facebook. On a Wednesday before Car Week, you have 11 supercars pulled over on the road. They took their time. He wrote each one of us individually, As he's writing my ticket, I'm trying to make small talk with him, trying to break the ice for myself and everyone else, right? And I'm like, "Oh, are we the first group of tickets you did?" And he said, "Not even close." And you open up the books. I swear to God, he had about that thick of tickets already written.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this just was his mission that day. That same cop, same year, was actually at the McLaren's private event later in the week, towing cars out of the valet because the one of the side of the cars was on the street. It wasn't fully out of the road.
You see, something like that would raise a question of, doesn't the city itself know that this is a very big event that's happening that brings in a lot of tourists, a lot of revenue for the city and publicity? So, I mean, Dubai, for example, is literally built off of events like these. So the city adjusts itself to cater to you. So why do you think that CHP or Monterey is, instead of catering to you, they're actually trying to push you out?
Well, I think good.
Yeah.
You need a team.
I do. I'm actually hiring.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just hired a whole editing team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're doing enough of these to do that?
Yeah.
Cool.
I have like tens of gigabytes of interviews that I'd never shared.
Oh, really?
And some of them are pretty big, like with Vice President of Expel. At Monterey Car Week, I did a lot of interviews I never shared.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How, just because of the editing time?
Yeah. Because this takes hours and hours to edit. Yeah.
It's crazy. It seems like, they just talked for an hour and a half, but it's like, it's not.
Because I want to putting the subtitles and then making sure the edits, if I want to add something or remove something. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot of money too. And
I know.
And then
time.
Step by step, it just accumulates into so much. And when I go to so many different events, it starts to become an entire project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your demographic, do you think, right now? Like, what is the demographic you're shooting for? Is it car stuff? Is it
so the
luxury?
idea, so there's one main platform, which is Leading by Example. And then I have different subsidiaries of it.
Got it.
There's one called Behind the Wheels, which is everything car related.
Yep.
And then one called Behind the Bars, everything bikes related.
Okay. I thought it was like ex-criminals, but.
Not, it could go hand in hand, since a lot of bikers, are pretty interesting people. And then I have another one for Behind the Growth for business and like marketing and whatnot. And then another one for Behind the Truth for research. And then another one for professional athletes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, Superior Athletes Club, which is also my business.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, all right. Now, let's shift the focus to you. All right. Okay. You comfortable with the light?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to another episode of Leading by Example. And today's leader is one of the most well-known and respected people, especially in the car community here in California. Whether for his very successful business, Sinister Diesel, or for the very well-known car club, 9Sixteen Exotics. And today, we're going to get to know the man behind it all, his story, how he built these businesses, and his journey through it all. And on that note, Brian, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you for having me. Thank
you.
Yeah.
I know you're a very busy man. You have a lot going on. You just gave me a quick tour of the facility.
Yeah.
And there's a lot for us to discuss, whether it's related to cars or for you as a person. You have a very unique background.
Sure.
So let's take it from the very top. Where were you born and raised, and how did you develop into who you are today?
Okay. So born in Southern California, moved up here to Placer County when I was just a couple months old. So I consider myself a Northern California kid.
Okay.
You know, kind of, I really travel, you know, we've traveled a lot through the U.S. and I love Northern California.
Like with your parents?
Myself, through the car stuff, through my own, you know, adulthood. We didn't really travel a whole lot with my parents, you know, it was like local stuff, but not really like U.S. or definitely not international.
Okay.
But, you know, I haven't found a better place than here to call home. You know, there's lots of cool places to visit. So
yeah, I've traveled around the whole world, and I finally found a place where I feel like I could definitely build here and settle down a bit more.
I agree.
So I mean, there's a lot to see around the world, but California is amazing. There's a lot of diversity and a lot of things to do for sure.
Just a couple weeks ago, you know, I did a business conference in La Jolla, and then was up in Incline Village with my girlfriend 3 days later, right? So you got, you know, I mean, the same state, we have the ocean to the mountains, you know, and it's just kind of a beautiful example of California and how diverse it is, you know.
All right. And on that note, where did you study and how did you get into building the businesses that you have today?
I mean, the School of Hard Knocks, you know, I think it really is what it is. You know, I was a Catholic school kid in Folsom, and then went to Jesuit High School, which is a local all-boys high school here in Sacramento. But none of them really taught you business. You know, none of them really taught you to be your own entrepreneur and to do that aspect of life. And so, you know, my dad was a state employee. My mom was a executive for a few different cellular phone companies. So I didn't really have the entrepreneurship in my family, right? Like my first job, you know, when I turned 16, I got my driver's license. My dad handed me a key and said, "Good luck, go get a job." Right?
What key was it?
It was a Ford Bronco, actually.
Okay,
so,
that's a good start.
I was stoked with it. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Had a lot of good memories with it. But I'm always a car guy, you know. So and I really enjoy boating. Boating is one of my favorite pastimes.
Okay.
It's just a good thing for my soul to be around water, right?
But I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this are going to be wondering, okay, how did he go from where he started to boating? Because boating is not exactly a very accessible thing for the general public.
Well, so that was always a tradition in our family. We always had a boat.
Okay.
So we didn't really travel anywhere, but we went boating.
Okay.
Right?
That is a form of traveling.
Yeah, I guess it is. You know, we lived in Granite Bay, so Folsom Lake was right there, and you know, we got a lot of great lakes in Northern California. So, for my first job, I didn't want to do the normal you know, typical first job thing, work in a restaurant or something like that. It just didn't call to me, right? So I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. So I went around. This is when we had a bunch of different boat dealerships. I went around the first day of my summer break and I interviewed at boat dealerships. Found this one down in Rancho Cordova. They hired me on the spot. It was really cool. Started out as a boat detailer.
Detailer?
Yeah, at 16, it was rad. Like,
yeah,
you're around boats all day long. You are cleaning them and stuff, but it's really cool. You got, you know, I had a great tan, you know, like it just was.
Yeah.
It was
by the water?
Yeah, some of it by the water, some of it,
yeah.
They had stores in the water, which was cool to go visit.
What was the name of that business?
The Boat Center is what it was.
Are they still open today?
No, they're not. It was a family-owned business. You know, 2008 just wreaked havoc on the boat industry. You know, and
how so?
That'll come kind of further into our story. You know, right? So,
but before we jump into that part of the story, since you mentioned your parents, what did you said he worked with the state?
Yeah.
If you would like to share, what did
my
he used
dad
to
worked
do?
for the State Board of Equalization for almost 30 years.
Equalization?
So the tax collection side of it. So sales tax. He actually worked for hazardous waste tax. He died in 2013. So I missed a lot of like the adulthood side of it. You know, it's where like I could sit with him and talk about what he really did and what he didn't do, you know?
And relate a bit more.
Yeah, and relate about being a father, right?
Yeah.
Like I was just starting my family when he passed away, right? So I really missed out on that aspect of, because you don't respect or understand the trials and tribulations that your parents go through, especially your dad, the stress of it.
Or how he is the way he is sometimes.
Yeah, why is he crabby? Well, because you know now, like, you know, it's just tough, you know? But I do, even as a teenager and preteen, I remember he hated it. He hated working for the state, hated just being a number. He couldn't make a purpose for it, right? He couldn't make a purpose for himself. And I remember this one time he was trying to go for a promotion, and I remember him being upset because he wanted to come in and make these changes. State doesn't work off like that.
Yeah.
Like state employees, they penalize you for coming in and wanting to rock the boat and make these changes to make it better.
Even
right?
even if it's for the better, and you're going to make everybody's
not
life.
what it's about.
It's about bureaucracy.
It is, yeah. And it's that person above you, they don't want to look bad, and the person above them, vice versa, right? So, and it really bothered him. And I remember looking at that, going, that doesn't look right. That doesn't feel right, you know, for me. So it stuck with me, you know. It really stuck with me as far as going, okay, I need to do something that I have control over, the direction that I want to go, the things that I want to, how I want to promote stuff, how I want to promote myself, what I'm doing day to day, etc. You know, and then my mom worked a lot. You know, she was a VP, and I also knew that I didn't want to do that, right? So I, you know, like
a VP, you said?
She was VP of Human Resources.
Okay.
For
State
a couple
as well?
different, no, for a company called Cellular One, and then which turned into AT&T Wireless at the time.
Okay.
But this is years ago, like back when the brick phones, right? Like at the beginning of cellular phones.
Yeah. And the wired phones.
Yeah. Yeah. And she traveled a lot, so I knew that I didn't want to. That wasn't part of my life either. I wanted to be part of my family. I wanted to see my kids grow up. I wanted to, you know, I enjoy traveling, but I also want majority of my time to come home at night. You know, that's what I want. That's
stability and consistency.
my goal. You know. Yeah. So
once you saw that, and then you decided to start with boat detailing, you felt like this is something.
Boat detailing was just fun. It was a fun teenage job, right? And then
how'd you get the connection for something like that, or how'd you get into?
I literally just walked in the door and said.
Were you already into detailing, or?
Yeah.
Because for me personally, I never even registered what detailing was, given my background where I grew up. Everything was kind of always taken care of, so it never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And then when I came here to America, detailing is a very big thing.
It is a very big. There's a huge industry for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big when this is 96, so 1996.
Okay.
So wasn't anywhere near as big as it is now.
Yeah.
But I always enjoyed. You know, we had a small like RV camper, so camping and boating was a big thing for our family, my dad and I. So I would always enjoy cleaning them up and, you know, doing the spray downs for them and all that stuff, kind of keeping them nice and clean. So it just kind of seemed right, like seemed something I knew, I enjoyed, and was comfortable with, right? And little did I know, you know, I didn't have any clue all the things that I would learn. From
the hustle.
From the hustle, from being around other boat salesmen, the good and the bad, right? You know, when at 16, the owner of the dealership, you know, he had 3 sons, and he was kind of a hard ass. Like I thought it was just an asshole, you know?
Yeah. How so?
He just was really particular, you know. He knew what he wanted. He was successful in his own right. He was a successful entrepreneur, owned multiple dealerships throughout his life. And really didn't put up with any shit, you know, like he, you know, I'm a 16-year-old kid. What do I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, but now
Follow
I look
orders
back
and don't argue too
yeah,
much.
but now I look back and he actually taught me that. He taught me entrepreneurship, you know. So I really owe a lot to Barry in that aspect of like.
His name is Barry?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me to look at him and how he was running his business and living his life and having his kids included into his day to day. It really sat with me, and I was like, "Oh, that's a very appealing thing." It's, you know, he's building his own brand the way that he wanted to do, and he picked and chose like what he wanted to sell, how much he wanted to sell it for. You know, like all that stuff was on him. You know, good and bad, but that seemed way more interesting to me. So
even with all the risk and
yeah, well, you know, as a
that
kid, you
goes
don't
in.
realize all the risk, right?
Yeah,
like,
you just see
like, oh, this is
the
awesome. He gets a new car all the time, and he does this. You know, he has all these cool boats. you don't see the stress that he has of this flooring line of $1 million in a building and all this other stuff, right? And then it kind of evolved into selling parts for the boat dealership. So I was in the parts counter parts department.
Oh, so you went from detailing to sales.
Yeah, and it was kind of like really just they were shorthanded on this, sometimes during the summer, and I would just jump in because people would ask me questions because I'd be there, and I'd go, okay, I can help them with that, right?
Like customers walking in.
Yeah, just you're cleaning a boat, and people would be like, everyone else is busy. They look at you like, hey, can you do this?
Yeah,
sure,
And a lot of it is just conversation and being friendly with people.
100% what it is. Like I in the beginning, I didn't really see myself doing that.
Sales.
Like I just enjoyed doing what I was doing there, but I also found quickly that I enjoyed talking to people. I enjoy helping people. That's one of my things, right? Like deep down, that's kind of one of my languages is helping someone else, right? So whether it's trying to find a bilge, part for their bilge on their boat, or I don't know,
the idea of it, of giving back and being of service to others.
Right.
Yeah.
Which kind of comes full fruition into what we're doing with 916,
Yeah.
But so we, I went into that, and then I went into boat sales, and did that for, that was about 6 years, and
so you stayed in sales
same
for
dealership,
6 years.
Yeah, same place. Learned a lot from them. Could see that the family internal turmoil was kind of bringing down the whole entire business. The kids were kind of
competing,
bleeding the business dry. Barry was getting older.
With lavish spending?
They're spending, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lavish spending without making investments into the business.
Yeah, not
to
spending
grow.
the time. Not doing the work that the dad did, right? Like the dad set up this...
The dad retired or passed away? Or?
He just was getting older, and it's just, as he wanted to spend time with his grandkids, and I don't know, but I'm sure he had health stuff at that time. He's probably in his 60s maybe at that time, So I think his dream was to let his kids take it over and run it and grow it to what they wanted to. They didn't have that.
Yeah.
They wanted to.
They grew up too
They missed it. Yeah, something. They missed something. And I also, I remember driving to work one Sunday morning, and I saw, these people in the boats and campers and everything else. They're like going the opposite direction, right? And I'm like, I think I'm good on working every weekend for this, like to appease someone else, right? And so that kind of really stuck to me, and I didn't really look at anything else. And in the meantime, we were buying a product, wakeboard tower for boats, which is like back in the day, no boat manufacturers really came with this device, this metal, thing that you would attach to a boat. And
what does that do?
Back when wakeboarding was really popular, you would be pulled off of that, so it would pull you at a better angle, so you could do like aerial tricks. Yeah. So it's like a cage around the boat is what it looks like.
Is it the one with the spikes, like parts coming out?
Because you can have racks and stuff, all kinds of attached speakers and all kinds of stuff.
In Egypt, in Marina, or like the North Coast, that's very big there.
Yeah.
My family does that a lot.
Okay, yeah. So we would buy parts from this company, which now is my business partner. So he was, he had his own fabrication business that he was with his dad on, and they were looking to grow it. And we became friends and talking, and he's like, I'm looking for a sales guy, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of looking to get out of this, and to do something the next step, right?
How old were you at that time?
I was 22.
Okay.
And he was like, let's do it. So it was, for me, it was still the same industry. Had knew a lot of the people locally, at least. Still dealt with boats, but it was more of it was just a different dynamic, and I felt like I was working towards something of my own, right?
And you were older and more experienced as well, which helps. Yeah.
And so we started. I started working there for them doing sales, and his dad was getting older and kind of didn't want to do as much in the business, and through a few different moves, we became business partners, Mike and I.
Mike is one of the sons.
He's one of my. He's my business partner.
Okay.
And he was the one that was selling wakeboard towers or manufacturing wakeboard towers when I came into it. So
Okay.
So we've been in business together since 2002.
To this day.
Yeah, to this day.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
So at that time, you guys started with the wakeboarding, and then did it develop into something bigger?
Yeah, it did. It started to really kind of pick up momentum 2006, 2007, and then 2008, boom. The market crashed. The housing market just completely plummeted. Nobody was buying anything. We had a huge dealer in the area that had just way too much inventory, and they closed up. All their inventory got distributed throughout the entire country. So that one dealership had enough inventory to cover the entire country for 2+ years in boats.
Yeah.
So there was no boats being made.
Demand was low, but supply was too high.
Yeah, way too high.
Yeah.
And we were, at that point, we had really geared a lot of our business towards selling products to the boat manufacturer. Like that was our normal day-to-day, week-to-week kind of cash flow.
Yeah.
And low margin, bigger volume. But when that turned off, that faucet turned off, it turned off. And so we were like, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
So we did job shop stuff for a while. So basically you're, just, can you machine 100 of these? Like you saw, we had a couple CNC machines like you saw that we have out there. But just, 2.
What does CNC stand for the people watching?
You're going to put me on blast on that one. So computer pneumatic control, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but
all right. There's a lot of technicalities and specifics that people, regardless,
yeah,
this is
you could chat GPT.
Very niche.
Yeah. We went and we were doing we had this one customer, a wakeboard tower customer, who was part of this zero gravity treadmill company out in the Bay Area, and we started building parts for them, thinking we were going to make something of it, but it never, there was no profit in it.
Okay.
We essentially had a business to pay our employees, but we weren't getting paid. We're getting paid very, very little.
Yeah.
But we knew something was in the horizon, right? We really tried the wakeboard tower stuff. And then my business partner had a diesel truck. He had a Ford diesel Excursion, and it broke down, or it was having a problem with it. And we didn't really have the money in the business, and personally, to take it to the dealer or repair shop or something to that nature.
Personally, you mean you didn't have money because all what you had was going into the business? We weren't expenses.
The business wasn't generating enough money to pay us.
Yeah.
Fortunately, our
you were just
others had other jobs, so that was pretty much what we were living on. It's just low cost of living, which was good, but also they were working, so it brought some income in, right? And so, looking at the part or looking at the symptoms, you could kind of do some research and realize, there's a part out there that'll fix this in a shop, and this place was back east somewhere. They're making them. So we looked at it and we're like, well, hell, we can make that here. We have the CNC machines, we have the tube benders. Why don't we make that here, put it on the truck, fix the truck, and then let's see if we can sell some and get some money for side money for us to try to generate something while we figure out what we're going to do.
Were you making these products yourself? Were you the engineer behind it?
No, so I'm I don't have a manufacturing background, right?
Okay.
I really enjoy.
So in your high school, you said you were in the Jesuit high school. Were you guys just taking a general education, or were you focused on a specific? For example, in my school, we had science section or literature.
Yeah, I wish we had. I wish it was like that. It was more of just general ed. I think if you,
because I know about Jesuits in general, it's a very strong curriculum.
Yeah.
I don't know about America, but Jesuits, some of my relatives were in the Jesuit school in Egypt.
Okay.
And the curriculum is intense.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think at least when I was there, theology was the
core.
Yeah. And it was just kind of general ed at that time.
Okay.
I don't know if it's changed now. I hope so. Okay. Because I really do. I don't know.
So from high school, did you go to a specific college or?
No, I tried from high school, I tried a couple of junior colleges around here, Sierra and AR. And very quickly, I was working at the boat dealership, enjoying my time at the boat dealership, making more money than any of my 19-year-old buddies were making, 20-year-old buddies were making. So I'd go and sit in the class. And once you realize that guy sitting up front that's teaching me a business class has never been in a business, and he doesn't really give a shit if you are in his seat or not, then I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't care.
Too theoretical.
Yeah, and it's just, it is. Right or wrong, I kind of am stubborn, and I like to learn through experience, right? So
that's
whether
the best way to learn.
Learning or that, and there's stuff that I've gone through, that we've gone through in business, that no business economics or teacher of any kind could ever teach you. How do you deal with the United States of America coming after your business for selling a part legally online, paying your taxes, but also charging you as a felony? How do you deal with that?
Charging you as a felony?
Yeah, which we can talk about that too. But
okay, yeah. So a big part of this is for you to share your entire story and your legacy. So if there's anything you want to discuss, anything you want to talk about, the floor is all yours.
So we started selling this one product, and customer service in the diesel aftermarket industry was non-existent. Most of these parts were sold and or made in shops. The shop's number one priority was getting that truck out to that local customer by Friday. They didn't care about getting a product out the door when they said it would be to the customer that's across the country, right? Don't care. Half of them, they don't even answer the phone. There wasn't really a website. There was no reviews. Like, it just was just kind of the wild, wild west of that time.
You just go to the shop and hope they...
Yeah, or you know, magazine ads, right? So you remember that? Like, you'd go through the magazine and who had the coolest ad with your parts, and you call the number, and maybe they got an eBay store or something like that, or a primitive 1 or 2 page website. That's what we started as. That's what we started in. And it was fun. Like, it just, growth was insane. We multiplied multiple times over every year for the first few years, which was phenomenal. It just was fun. You felt like you could do no wrong, as far as like what direction business wise you were going, because
you were solving problems that people had.
We were solving problems, but also in a different way, right?
What was different about it?
Because we would answer the phone, because we would take care of the customer. As dumb as it sounds, that's the truth,
A lot of people miss out on the basics and the most simple procedures that actually take you to the next level.
100%.
And this is not just in business. This is in life in general. Even the same thing with sports, diet, relationships. Once you master the fundamentals of the basics, a lot of people underestimate how far they can go if they just do the basics.
Yep. You'd be amazed at how many people I get weekly, because in addition to all my roles here, one of my more favorite ones is doing the tech for Sinister. I don't tell a lot of people that. It's just, I'm on the phone. I'm just a tech guy at that time, right? But it puts me really in good, finger on the pulse. What's going on? What are the problems with the products? How are the customers feeling? But you'd be amazed at how many people weekly are blown away that I called them back. Not that not alone, let alone that I called them back within an hour or
to this day.
To literally yesterday, I had a guy that was like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting a phone call." It's like, well, what were you expecting? But I can't blame them, because most businesses, it's maybe we'll call you in 48 hours kind of a thing, or maybe it's an AI prompted response, right? But we were doing that in 09 and in 10.
Back then it's a lot different.
It's totally different. I can remember, sitting in, trying to get ready in the morning, and I've got, a little daughter running around, and I'm hiding in the closet because they're trying to get ready for school, and I'm trying to take an order for a guy in New York, you know what I mean, for a part, right? And so it just kind of just evolved from there. Like, one part came into a customer asking, "Oh, would you have these 2 components?" Yes, sure, no problem. Half of them I didn't even know what the hell they were, but we figured it out. We found the source for it.
So you went from working on boats to then, after your friend had a problem with his truck.
Yeah, my business partner did. Yeah. And then we started producing the part.
So you switched the business model from boating to truck.
We were still in so at that time, now we're 2010, right? The marine industry's kind of starting to come back.
Okay.
We had a couple manufacturers that we were still building parts for. It was a very gratifying feeling because they were the company who, we had a load going down to them. And I'm sure that that time, that week, we needed that money to make payroll or pay for something or whatever, right? They were in Fresno, and they called us and said, hey, if you deliver that load, you're not going to get paid. And we're literally loaded up, headed that way, right?
Yeah.
So we had to call the guy, turn around. That was really a low week. And it was a very gratifying feeling to call them a year and a half, 2 years later, and say, you know what, we're good. We don't need your business anymore because we've gone through weathered the storm, and we have our own brand, and we're moving in the right direction.
How was their reaction?
Surprised, I think. I think that sometimes companies like that, they feel like they have you, by the throat, and they can kind of control you. And it was a cool feeling. I remember that. It's just like. It wasn't like an FU. It was just a gratifying, like, I ate your shit. Now guess what? Now I get to tell you I'm good.
I don't need you anymore.
And that's that way. Like,
it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. And,
it does, but it's
relief.
just like any relationship or anything like that, right? If it's toxic or just not healthy for you, there's nothing better than just going.
We're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Which I learned a lot this last year, but. So we went into that. Business went well.
Why did you call it Sinister Diesel?
We tried the name Sinister for a few different things. We had a Sinister wakeboard shop on the other side when we were just in this one corner of the building, which, in this building we're in almost 30,000 square feet. But when we first started, we were in like 4,500 square feet.
Okay.
So we were trying anything to try to make some money, make people in the door, right? I don't remember how it came about, but we both thought it was just a cool name. It's very memorable. And I remember, we even went to my business partner. He filed the name for Sinister Diesel, and our business attorney at the time, I remember him telling him, that's a really memorable name. And he's like, yeah, it's cool, right? And he's like, yeah, but that's a good thing and a bad thing. Because he's like, the good customers will remember it, but the regulations and government and everything else will remember it as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's also part of branding and your target audience, and it's mainly all for trucks, right?
Yeah, it is all. That's all we do is Ford, Chevy, Dodge, diesel truck parts. Most of it is like fix or repair parts. So like a part that's a weak link on from the factory that's known to break in masses. We will go in, engineer it to be better, stronger, last longer, ideally handle more power, and market it that way. So
okay, so you take the stock part, you study.
So this is a perfect example. So this part here is probably one of the most failed components. This tube is one of the most failed.
This part or this part?
This is all one piece. So this is a cold side charge pipe.
Okay.
For a 6.7 Power Stroke, so a newer Ford.
Okay.
Probably one of the most failed components on those trucks, and there's millions of those trucks out there. The factory first started out in plastic, so this piece is all plastic here, and it busts open right here. And then they went to a rubber tube, which then it busts open here. Still to this day have that design, which I thank God that they do, because we sell so many of them because of that, right? But so we took it as seeing the problem, how do we make it better? How do we make our brand on it? And then how do we market it at a good price to the customer? So
do you think Ford kind of does that on purpose to get people to keep repairing their cars?
I think Ford looks at it as...
Let's say I was Ford or you're Ford.
Yeah.
And I realized that this is a consistent, recurring problem. It would be kind of odd for me not to fix it. For example, if I saw that you keep fixing out my problems, why don't I just hire you?
What's a big number to us is a very small number to Ford. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, like, okay, so say I sell I don't even.
No, just in terms of parts.
No, I know. Yeah. So say there might be some income generating. There is obviously income generating for Ford aftermarket on the parts, right? Or after the post sale is what the word I'm looking for. But I truly think that their main focus is producing the truck as new, and how much is it going to save them going from a metal to a plastic or metal to a rubber. I mean, a lot of you start doing volume, a few million trucks a year, and you save $20 a truck or $100 a truck. That adds up a lot of money, right? I think that's really truly what they look at, and it's a numbers game, right? It is. Okay. So say 30% fail. That's still 70% that aren't failing. Ford's on to the next truck, right? Like 3 years down the road, they're not even. I don't even think they think twice about these things.
Yeah. They leave that for people like you to 100%. Step in.
They know. Well, then they're selling the part too, right? Yeah. They're selling it at their dealership. They probably sell more than the whole aftermarket does combined through their own dealer network. So they're okay. You know, like I don't think that they put as much thought into how do we fix this part on a truck that was made 4 years ago. They don't give a shit. I think they think, what are we doing for 4 years from now for a truck? For how do we make that better? You know?
And that's why businesses like you step in and take care of the
there's
people.
There's a big enough pie for everybody, you know. Ford's no dummy. I mean, they know what they're doing, as does the other automotive manufacturers do. They've been doing the same thing for years, you know, same principle. So
what took you then from Sinister Diesel into starting something like 916 Exotics?
So
what's the story behind that? Like, why did you even get the motivation to start something like that?
Let's see. It kind of goes back. I've always been a car guy.
Okay.
My dad and I would go every Thursday in Rockland. They would have an old car show at Jasper's. So anybody, the OGs that are from here in the, you know, the 80s and 90s, I think they stopped it maybe in the mid 2000s. That was the thing to go. So we just would always go to the good guy shows and just old car stuff. That was, you know, our thing that we talked about. We spent hours upon hours, you know, talking about this car and what would we do if we bought this and what was your favorite car, you know. So from a very early age, I've always been a car guy.
You'd always go with your family to these events?
Yeah, typically, like, I would go with my dad. That would be kind of our thing, right? And then we'd drag my sister around. But my sister and I have like a 9-year age gap, right? So
okay, me too.
She just, you know, we didn't have that traditional brother-sister relationship. She was just kind of always drug around, right?
Wait, 9 years younger than you or older?
She's 9 years younger.
Oh, no, she's 9 years older.
Yeah, okay. I'm the oldest one. So,
how many siblings do you have?
Just me and her. So I just have one sibling. So
okay.
Yeah. So you
used to go to a lot of the events,
the old
good
car
guys,
stuff,
and you said Jasper's.
Yeah, it used to be a hamburger joint in Rockland.
Yeah.
And then when I didn't really have I didn't have anything cool. We had an old car that we had bought. It was a 48 Plymouth or 47 Plymouth
That's
that
nice.
we bought. It was cool. It needed everything, right? But we didn't care. Like, we bought it and we talked about all the things we were going to do to it and this and that. And then, you know, that was when I was in my early teens, and then life kind of happened. You become a teenager and, you know, you're chasing girls and, you know,
priorities shift.
Yeah, working and all that stuff, right? So it sat in his garage for forever, and then he was moving out of Loomis and sold it. And I knew he was selling it. And then so, you know, I just kind of went into, after he passed away, I really wanted to buy an old car, you know, just to kind of I don't know if it was just a goal of mine that we'd always talked about. So I bought a car. I bought a 47 Ford sedan from Good Guys in Pleasanton at one of the shows, you know.
You bought it from the show itself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Brought it home, and
so it must have been in good condition.
Thought it was the coolest thing ever, you know. And then you drive it and you're like, oh, this could be better, and this kind of sucks. And did a full rebuild on that. And in the meantime of doing a rebuild on that, I realized I like the older stuff. So I bought a Model A Roadster, actually from Gas Monkey Garage. It was just some original car that he bought.
You said
and I'll give you some pictures.
Gas Monkey?
Yeah, Gas Monkey Garage is like, they had a big TV show on Discovery Network.
I know this. I used to watch a lot of Discovery.
Yeah. So that's him. So, you know, I bought a car from him, just kind of not on purpose, but he had the car that we wanted. And then started building that with a shop here in Roseville called Roseville Rod and Custom. Fortunately, we have Roseville Rod and Custom is legitimately probably one of the best nationwide hot rod builders that we have in our backyard. We're really lucky for that, you know. And Ben and I became closer because we were doing the car shows, and you know, I had aspirations to win this event and do that type of thing, and we started showing cars.
What do those events mean to you? Like when you go to the events and the car shows and
it's
presenting
different.
your car?
It's different. It's different then than it is now, right?
How so?
In a lot of different ways. But so when I would go there, it was all about, you know, is the car perfect? Is it polished? Is it, you know, what does it look like? Is it, you know what I mean? Like all that type of stuff. Fast forward to today, I don't care about wiping down the car. In fact, I drive it there. Cars are our vessel for our experiences and our travel, right? It's not everything. There's a lot of people, and everybody's to each their own. There's all kinds of different facets of car guys.
But what you just said is a very wise way to put it.
But I think that that's the true car guy way, right? Yeah. Like I can appreciate a 32 Ford, I can appreciate a 350Z, and I can appreciate a Koenigsegg, right? All in the same aspect.
Just different flavors, different
totally
categories.
Different. And I think like the old car scene, what's one of the biggest things that draws me to the old car scene is every one of them is unique.
Yeah.
Every one of them, at some point, somebody was like, this is my vision for the best version of that car. Yeah. And they built it. And I think that's freaking rad.
Yeah. That's what got me back into the car scene, to take all the pictures and videos and whatnot. You can see a personality in the car. Yeah. It's not just a piece of metal and four wheels.
For most time. Yeah. Some people, it's all about the symbol on the hood and that's it, right? Like they think that that's the most perfect iteration of it is when it came off the factory line. Or they don't have the creativity, or that's not what they're there for. They're literally just there to wear the Ferrari jacket and walk around with the Ferrari hat and say they own a Ferrari, you know? Yeah. So the old car stuff started showing it, indoor shows. We went back to Nashville, won Hot Rod of the Year for Good Guys. I won Street Rod of the Year for Street Rodder magazine. Did pretty much everything I could do with the car. The whole entire time, I'm like, Ben, when can I drive it? Like, that's all I want to do.
So what were you guys doing with it at the time? Just
toning
putting
it
on display?
I'd go from display to display, go to a shop, polish it back up, fix this. Yeah. You know, I don't think maybe when we did Hot Rod of the Year, we might have had 50 or 100 miles on it, right?
Okay. So it's purely for show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that was boring. That became like, I just got tired of it. You know, you can only sit in a warehouse, talk about, I want to get out. I want to experience it, right?
I want to feel it. Yeah. I want to ride it. I want
to hear it, you know? So I started driving it. And old cars are phenomenal to look at. They're really cool. I don't care what level you have an old car built to. They suck to drive.
How so?
They're just
stiff.
They're not reliable. They might be stiff. They might be soft. They might stop quickly at this corner, but that corner is not. Like, there's just so many aspects that you don't understand the engineering that goes behind a modern day car until you drive an old car. Like they just are not great. You know, the air conditioning works kinda, even on the best brand new, you know, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollar builds. They just suck. They're just not great. I shouldn't say they suck. They just aren't super enjoyable to drive long distance, right? If you want to go from
we take a lot for granted.
Yeah, well, if you want to go from your house to 5 miles down the road to Cars and Coffee, or go get a coffee or whatever, they're fine. They're great. You know, like if you want to just take
quick
the wife out for a dinner, you know, locally, and then go home, totally fine. And I'm not knocking it at all. I'll own old cars again at some point. But I like to drive, and I like to drive long distance, and I like to go see new experiences, right? I want to be able to drive my car to the coast and do Highway 1, you know? And I never really felt that vibe with the old cars. So I started like me being just active with the old car scene, I started getting kind of some other guys to come with and drive along, and we can show up together. And there's just a few things like they get there at 5 a.m. to get a parking spot. I don't care. I'm not getting up 5 a.m. That's why I stopped fishing. I love fishing. Hate getting up super early to go out to do that, right? So I bought a Mercedes AMG GTS. So it's the 2-door, long nose, 500 something horsepower Mercedes car.
What year was that?
That was in 17.
Okay.
So I'd done the old car.
Was that
stuff.
your first supercar?
I wouldn't call it a supercar, maybe an exotic.
Okay.
But yes, first exotic. I had a BMW M6 Grand Coupe before that. I really liked that car, but it wasn't like I was always on a search for a different kind of feeling. That car didn't do it for me.
Feeling of what, power or?
When you drive a supercar, when you sit and you mash the throttle and you go through the gears, and it's not an ego thing at that point for at least for me. It's the feeling. It's the sensation. This is faster than normal. This brakes better than normal. This looks wilder than normal. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff, right? The BMW and the Mercedes were on the high end of normal, but it was that normal feeling, right? It didn't give you that tingling feeling. So I was always on that hunt, right? So I would go to Cars and Coffee and Euro Sunday with it.
That's something we'd want to talk about, but yeah. After that.
So, and this is in 2017. That's a whole different ball game than here. I mean, like now. My personal opinion, we have too many Cars and Coffees. We have too many parking lot events. Maybe unpopular decision or statement, but I don't think that I don't know what I'm trying to say. A storage facility warrants a car show. Just don't. I think that a car show should be for what it is and ran by people who know how to run a car show and aren't killing our industry.
How so?
There's a lot of...
So what you just said, there's multiple layers
I know.
to it. Yeah.
Well, so this is on you to bust those down, right?
Okay.
So
because you said organization, location,
Yep.
and then the people behind it.
So the people behind it need to be... They need to be... Again, this is 100% my opinion. Events go better when they're ran by true car enthusiasts. Not somebody who wants to promote their boba business or wants to promote, you know what I mean? Like you have no idea. You don't know the connection, nor do you know what to expect to control the mayhem that can come with it, right? That makes every other car event look bad because you couldn't control your one event. That's the part that sucks. That's why I think we have too many, Rittenauer, with what he's done with Euro Sunday, is awesome. Euro Sunday started here. Like Euro Sunday, they have locations all across the country now. But Euro Sunday started in Sacramento. It was a Sacramento thing. And it was like it still is a good event to go to, but it was like if you wanted exotics or supercars, that was like the only event you would go to because that's where they'd be.
I remember when I first started attending the events here, I literally, when I first started to realize what these events were, because I started from scratch, I had no idea what anything was. None of the car groups, none of the cars. I didn't even know this was a thing. And then one of the main events that I started to really feel like, okay, this is definitely worth showing up for was Euro Sunday. Yeah. To the point where I was literally canceling on work that I had that Sunday to just show up because this is once a month and work, we can reschedule.
Yeah. And it's, it's a great, touching on the location aspect. Look, Euro Sunday's great because it moves around. Yeah. He could be in downtown Sacramento one month, and then you're in Auburn another month, and then you're in El Dorado Hills another month,
Which is beautiful.
It's awesome. Yeah. Because it's different locations, but it is amazing the different cars you get in the different central locations.
Because it's different people, different demographics.
It's bizarre. Yeah. Like a person from El Dorado Hills very rarely comes to Roseville for a car show, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's not as if it's out of the, it's 30 minutes, right? It's like, it's not like but it's like a whole nother world for some people.
Especially that it's early morning on a Sunday,
Yeah.
Maybe he would come, it's just not much of a priority.
Maybe, yeah. Different reasons for different people, right?
Yeah. But the philosophy behind it, the idea is very nice.
It is.
And besides the cars, even just for people, for people to connect with each other and get to know each other. I mean, that's how we met, through these car events.
Yep. It's more controlled.
Yeah.
He does a really good job. I think, unfortunately, a lot of events, because the lack of control, the lack of respect for the location.
So when you say control, what are you referring to?
People not doing burnouts, people not taking off sideways, people not, acting stupid for that social media clout, which we see all the time,
How would you navigate that? Because sometimes, let's say
there's a reason why I don't do cars and coffees.
Yeah.
Because I think, for me, that the best person in the game for cars and coffee is South OC Cars and Coffee.
South OC?
They're in Orange County.
Okay. Why are they the best?
Every weekend they have, I would say probably, I'm quoting off of memory. I would say probably an average weekend's probably 400 to 500 cars.
Okay.
A lot of hypercars, a lot of supercars, a lot of old cars, a lot of, just a good combination of it. But from about a mile out, you're coming into South OC Cars and Coffee. They constrain your stupidity, right? So it's like the lanes are a little bit more narrow.
You mean
the cones
police,
are a little bit closer.
Police does
they have
everything.
staff
that
are on radio that if you do one stupid thing, you're gone. Like, they take photos of you. You don't even get to go on the show. Vice versa, leaving. They control the exit, so it's backed up. Like, you can see there's a lot of process there.
Organization and regulation.
There's a reason why they're one of the only cars and coffees still left in Southern California. I mean, look at Southern California. Their car culture has been decimated by stupid takeovers and CHP and stuff. And I'm seeing it up here right now. Like, I'm seeing, we had an event. It was a Euro Sunday event like two plus years ago here in Roseville. We try to come in pretty heavy and with a group count, but respectful with our group. And it's not uncommon for us to come into a Euro Sunday with 20 plus supercars, right? Just in our group.
Group is in 916 Exotics. Okay.
Yeah. And leaving Euro Sunday, there was probably 10 plus of us that leaving at the same time. We might have been going to, I don't even know where we were all leaving, but we all left at the same time. We go out and there's a CHP task force. I was leading. I lead most of the time. And I like to lead because it controls the chaos, right? We're a group of fast drivers. We do things, but a lot of things are calculated, right? Like, it's most of the time you see us all running in a pack. That doesn't happen by happenstance. That happens by controlling the group, controlling the speed. Like, you get some faster spurts, but this time we were rolling out of fountains at 35 miles an hour, not speeding, not revving, not doing anything. CHP pulled over 4 cars.
For what reason?
And that's exactly the point. Because they were supercars leaving an event, they found, like, they threatened, this exhaust or this, license plate or this, whatever. But there was no way. I was the lead car. The second I crested over the hill, CHP was already rolling. So they couldn't tell that we had tint or we had exhaust or whatever. They profiled us because of the supercar group. Same thing happened to us in Monterey. There was...
During Car Week?
Yeah, we were coming down to Car Week in 24. And we had gone a new route, crossed over we had lunch at a Simi up in San Carlos, I think is where it is. Yeah. Really cool facility. And we took Highway 1 all the way down. It was really cool.
Shout out to Simi Mechanic.
Yeah, Simi Mechanic. It's a great place, right? Yeah. When we got into Seaside, no, even before that, as because Monterey's on at the other end of the bay, right? So as you're coming into Seaside area, but a few miles out, I see on Waze, and we're in traffic. This is like 4:00 now on a Wednesday, right? So it's you're not being an idiot.
Yeah.
I see on Waze, CHP. Okay. Radar starts kind of clicking off. Not a big deal. We're doing whatever, 65, 70 miles an hour. Moving with flow of traffic. With 28 supercars. So you know that some
28 supercars, all of you guys together.
In a pack, right?
Okay.
Like not necessarily maybe in a line, but we were all in a vicinity of a mile from each other, right?
Okay. So you can feel your presence.
And we all had the same rally stickers and everything else because we do, 916 does a rally from Sacramento to Monterey every year on Wednesday.
Okay.
And we come around the corner and he pops out. And I'm like, okay, well, he's usually how it happens is they pop out, kind of go slow, pick their victim, pull the person over, and they're done, right? Whether it's window tint or license plate or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this time he gets in front of me and he starts slowing the entire freeway down. Stop the freeway. Gets out of his car, calls me over as I'm driving, calls me over. And I rolled down my window and I said, how are you? He said, give me your license.
Just like that, straight off?
100%.
Oh.
And I said, for what? For speeding. And I said, we weren't speeding. We most certainly were. I caught you on radar. On laser, I think is actually what he said.
Yeah.
You know, so CHP has you blocked on the road.
Yeah.
You're not much you can do, right? Just give me your license. I said, okay, pull over there.
How was his demeanor?
In the beginning, he was very stern. I think he wasn't sure how we were going to handle it, right? I mean, you got to think like this one cop just stopped the entire freeway to pull over 20 plus cars. Yeah. And I know that was his intention. His intention was to pull over every car that we had in the group.
Why do you feel he would have the motivation to do such a thing?
Let me finish the story and then you can kind of... Yeah. So we pull over. He gets to about the 11th car. A guy that wasn't in our group, it's car week, right? So there's supercars coming down also.
All over the place.
He got funneled into the cop and he took off.
What do you mean got funneled into
because the cop basically had all lanes funneling down to him.
Okay.
Because there's 4 or 5 lanes of freeway, and he had them all. Every car he was letting
go through this
to get their license for the supercars.
So he'd take your license and tell you to park on the side.
Yeah. You know, whatever, quarter mile down the road or whatever. This car that wasn't with us, he took off. The cop stopped. Yeah. Said, "Hey, give me your license." The guy he didn't roll down his window, I don't think. Just kept blew through. It rattled the cop. So the cop's on the radio, calling. And then he jumps in the car. I think he thought about chasing, but then I think he realized, like, I have these guys' license. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he pulls over and comes up to the front. I'm the lead car. And said, "I'm Officer so-and-so. You're pulled over for your speeding." And I said, "Oh, really?" I go, "Where did you get us at? Because I saw you on Waze here." And he's like, No, I got you at the overpass." I said, "Oh, really?" I go, "Where is that at?" And he said, "Oh, I don't remember what the exit was now." And I said, and he said, "I got you at 2,200 feet." I said, "Okay, that's pretty far away, but okay." I said, "It's funny, you were on Waze here for a while. Like I saw you when we were coming on. I don't know what to tell you about that." Okay. So, as he's writing our ticket, he looks at me and he's a big guy. And he pops his head in the window and he goes, "Feel free to get out and take pictures." And I'm like,
that's why I asked you about his demeanor.
Yep. This was all PR. Yeah. 100% publicity. Yeah. We made the news. Yeah. We made CHP's Instagram and Facebook. On a Wednesday before Car Week, you have 11 supercars pulled over on the road. They took their time. He wrote each one of us individually, And
you got an actual citation, not a warning.
He wrote us for, I think it was 80 plus. Okay. I think is what his ticket was. When I first asked him, he said, "Oh, some of you were doing over 100. And I said, "So you got all these cars at 2,200 feet at different speed limits? That's at different speed rates?" "Yep." "Okay." I'm not there to argue. It's not the time or the place, right? Yeah. And so 100% we were profiled. I'm sure we were called on because it was a big group, and it's one lane road. There's people that might have passed or whatever. I didn't see any of it, but they knew we were coming. They knew we were coming from when we left, probably Sacramento.
And it's also to set the tone. I feel like with that sentence you said about you feel free to come out and take pictures. they did deliberately want to make an example
Absolutely.
out of me. Yeah.
He wanted me to post that.
He might have even been given an order to do something like that.
Yeah.
Just to set the tone for the coming week.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here we made an example out of all these guys, so you're next if you don't behave.
Well, this, like, as he's writing my ticket, I'm trying to make small talk with him, trying to break the ice for myself and everyone else, right? And I'm like, oh, are we the first group of tickets you did? And he said, not even close. And you open up the books. I swear to God, he had about that thick of tickets already written.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this just was his mission that day.
Yeah.
That same cop, same year, was actually at the McLaren's private event later in the week, towing cars out of the valet because the one of the side of the cars was on the street. It wasn't fully out of the road.
You see, something like that would raise a question of, doesn't the city itself know that this is a very big event that's happening that brings in a lot of tourists, a lot of revenue for the city and publicity? So, I mean, Dubai, for example, is literally built off of events like these.
Mm-hmm.
So the city adjusts itself to cater to you.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think that CHP or Monterey is, instead of catering to you, they're actually trying to push you out?
Well, I think
because for a guy like me and many others, we never heard of Monterey until you guys told us about it. So you guys are helping the city.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people that benefit from it. I think there's a lot of residents from Car Week.
Yeah.
From the from the hotels to the restaurants to
the whole city,
the Starbucks to everywhere,
everybody.
right? But there are so many residents that absolutely freaking despise it. I mean, I can't think of how many times I've seen residents get into issues with other, not necessarily with our group, but with other people just being in Carmel. And I mean, look at what's happened to Carmel. And I think they're trying to figure out, how do you control a massive group in a massive event, but cherry pick the ones that you want and the ones that are spending money there versus the ones that are creating chaos and wreaking havoc on your city. That's a tough event. I mean, a tough bill to try to do in the fact of, I don't know I think about it. I go, event mind, right? Like, how would I control this? How would I do this? I mean, last year, we went to, we were coming back from an event. This is 11 o'clock at night, and everybody was in Seaside at In-N-Out and then Home Depot. Holy cow. Like, I've never been in a bigger sea of just people, kids, just, people burning out, people doing this stuff that is just, it's not good for the community, car community as a whole. And that kind of brings back to like our conversation about people doing events that are beneficial and are good for the culture. How do you control the Instagram influencer? I've never seen more influencers in Monterey than last year. It was insane. How do you control that? I don't know. I don't know how you would limit that.
And I feel like it's only getting bigger.
It is, for sure, but kind of in the wrong way.
How so?
Like, it's getting bigger people-wise, but this event, Car Week, wasn't intended for people, for like quantity of people, quantity of cars, and quantity of car owners. Yes, 100%. Those towns aren't set up for that many people. I mean, Monterey, out of all those towns, are the most touristy, but even Monterey has a huge constraint when they start getting that many people in for Car Week.
In terms of infrastructure.
Parking and hotels and restaurants and, just police and, all that stuff. It's
logistics and managing the entire thing. Which is why last year was my first time ever going to Monterey Car Week. And then right after it, I directly got the thought, okay, why don't we have a Sacramento Car Week?
Yeah.
We got the infrastructure, we got the people. I mean, you're here, you're based here. And we have the entire space for it and lots of the people that are involved in the community. And that's been something that I've been thinking about, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people had the idea.
Yeah.
And
have you been to Super Sunday?
No, not yet. That's one of the things that I saw. I was like, okay, there's Super Sunday. And then there's also the monthly events like Euro Sunday.
Yeah.
If we bring the events, for example, like the Quail, if we, for example, make another version of it here called the Elk.
Yeah.
And then another thing for 4x4 cars. And then we can bring the manufacturers to Sacramento, and we have a very beautiful Capitol building.
Yeah.
Like they have Exotics on Broadway. We can have Exotics on Capitol.
Yeah.
Every single thing that they have there, we can just diffuse some of the pressure that they have and bring some of it to Sacramento so people get the experience.
I don't disagree
Yeah.
that it's a potential. I think the one thing that no other city or location can compete with is Carmel and Monterey and Highway 1
Yeah.
and Bixby Bridge. And you know what I mean? Like all those things, like I love this area.
It's not to replace it.
No, I understand, but
Yeah.
it's just the vibe, right? Like I think, how do I convince this car collector from Connecticut to ship 10 of his multi-million-dollar hypercars to be on display in Sacramento, California? How do I do that?
We can orchestrate it in a way.
But you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is the experience, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that brings me back to kind of what we were talking about. For the vehicle is just the vessel,
Yeah.
right? Like that guy's been anywhere and everywhere,
Yeah.
right? A lot of these guys are flying in their PJs and they're landing at Monterey. They had their, $10 million in cars brought in or more, you know. It's not about showing the car necessarily. It's about bringing the car to Carmel, having a one-on-one experience with other people that are like it, going down Highway 1 with 15 other Koenigseggs. That's the experience. That's why Car Week is the way that it is. Carmel, you can't duplicate Carmel anywhere else in the world. Like it's just, Carmel is badass. Highway 1 is badass. Like it's, I've been on a lot of roads in California. Highway 1 is still my favorite one. From Monterey to Big Sur, it really doesn't get much better than that. I mean, it's sexy. It's the curves. It's the, the bridges, the ocean. Like it's just the vibe, So at Car Week, there's an event called the Quail. I love the Quail. It's a more exclusive. You don't have the crowd like you do at a lot of the other events. Nothing like Exotics on Broadway or anything like that. And that's what inspired me to do Super Sunday.
So what is Super Sunday?
So Super Sunday is an event that I started in 2021. It's always at a private estate. I don't sell gate tickets. I don't sell to spectators. I sell to registration to the car owner and their passenger.
Only.
So
maximum 2 tickets per person.
Each registration's 2 tickets. I will select myself and Ali, who runs 916 CNC, and a bunch of other things. Him and I meet, we have media apply through our, a Google sheet, and they fill out all their requirements. I actually just looked today, and I've got over 100 applications already. And this year I was planning on doing less, right? Like I will probably pick around 25. Last year was about 40.
Last year you picked 40 people out of the applicants. Okay.
Yeah. And him and I will meet, on some random morning, and we go through the list through, our Excel sheet and
of car owners and media.
No, so the car owners are what they are. I have my requirements for a car to be displayed at Super Sunday. It's got to be an exotic of some sort. I'm the final judge of it, but I'm pretty fair. I'm a car guy, so like, some things, it doesn't have to be a supercar. It doesn't have to be this and that. If it's got the right vibe and the owner, I feel is going to add value to the event, I'm all about it. If you're an asshole and you come at me like, oh, this is the one-on-one, blah, 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 I don't care. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. I don't care what kind of car you have, right? It's all about the people. And it's funny when you get to Super Sunday, you don't see a lot of owners necessarily like hyper focus on the cars. It's about the people. And that's what Super Sunday is for me, right? I love seeing everybody at Euro Sunday. I love going to 916 Cars and Coffee and walking through the aisle and checking out some car, and people like, hey, give me a fist bump, hey, nice to see you, kind of a thing, right? Kind of like how we've met. But Super Sunday is a different vibe. Super Sunday, I want that like for like, right? Like the person that's there, The dude's walking by on the grass with a couple of his buddies or with his wife or whatever it is, and he sees another guy. He knows that guy's a car guy. That guy's a supercar owner. That guy's a hypercar owner. More than likely, that guy's a business owner, right? Like that building is, or that grass is typically full of Type A business owners. That's predominantly what our area is for supercar owners, right? So you instantly have that connection. You don't have to qualify, not necessarily qualify, but you have that connection.
The filtration process.
Yeah, but it's the connection of a likelihood, right? Like 916 Exotics, we're not technically a club.
How did it even start?
Okay, so I think that's actually where we started out with this. 2020.
Okay.
COVID. I bought a 458 Ferrari in 2019. Started going to this was when Cars and Coffee Folsom was cool. They're not cool now.
We can talk about that after.
Yeah. That brings you back to the person that's running the event. Bruce, who ran Cars and Coffee Folsom, is a car guy to the T. Super cool dude. Likes old stuff, likes new stuff. Uber respectful, never an issue. And the show was never bigger than when Bruce did it. He sold it. Don't blame him. Him and his wife.
What do you mean sold it?
Just basically like the name and the idea of Cars and Coffee Folsom, right? He's still very active in it. But they just got tired of spending every Saturday doing Cars and Coffee,
It's a commitment.
It's a big commitment. Kudos to them for that. And it was every single weekend. They sold it to another group who they're predominantly muscle car guys and have a strong preference towards muscle car guys and have a very strong disliking to supercar owners.
Why?
You'd have to ask them that.
Okay.
We've never had a really good interaction with them.
Did something trigger it?
I think they felt like, maybe some ego. I think that they felt that we needed to kind of conform to their new hierarchy, But, we are where we are.
Hierarchy of what? Who has the more powerful
Yeah, where
car?
they park or, I don't know. I really don't know. So, the example was, we pulled in as a group right after they first started controlling the event, and we got out of the cars, and literally the guys were getting out of the cars, and the promoter was face to face with one of our guys going, "Oh, you guys rev, and you guys did this and that." We're like, "Dude, we literally just got here."
And what about it if you revved?
Yeah, that's a great question.
For me as a spectator, I appreciate it when you rev.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I'm very cautious of the people that I bring to an event and the fact of, do they represent myself and my morals and what I feel like is good at a car event? And if you don't, you're not rolling with us for very long, right? And these guys were all guys that have driven with before, and I know that there wasn't a problem. Their problem was there was 12 or 15 supercars that pulled in. It focused all the attention. They instantly, some people just have that instant persona of what a supercar owner is.
Okay.
I think that that's them. I think that I truly do. And, they just got in the face of the wrong guy. And, John, I don't know if you know John Moore, but, he's our cowboy, man. He doesn't put up with shit.
When you said cowboy, I knew.
You knew who he is, yeah.
From the hat?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was the most calm, cool, and collected I think I've ever seen him. When he was face to face, this guy was just in his face, and I'm like, oh boy, this is not going to be good.
Yeah.
And he basically, kicked us out of the event and made this big thing about it. And I've tried a couple times to, go to the promoter and be like, hey, I'd love to, we're both influential people in the car community, local car community. I'd love to, talk with you and see if we can make amends. And he has no interest. So that's fine.
What was his response? That's a very mature thing.
Literally says, I have no interest in doing anything with you. Okay.
And you came at him respectfully.
100%.
Because that sentence you just said is arguably one of the best ways to resolve a conflict.
That is the only way that should have been resolved.
Yeah.
Sideline on a Wednesday, whether it's a phone call or coffee or whatever, right? No one else, no egos around. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
What's your problem? What's your problem? How do we work this together?
Yeah.
Or not. But at least we have some mutual respect to each other.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, this is what it all boils down to.
Yeah. And there's lots of there's a handful of other stories.
Yeah.
One of their guys who was a major contributor and a part of their group, we were doing the Fulton cruise.
Yeah.
Put on, but at that time it was the Auto Museum, but now Euro Sunday does it.
This was recent, right? Like I think
2 years
last year
ago,
or 2 years ago.
Okay. We were asked to be there, and by Mike from Cars and or Euro Sunday.
Euro Sunday. Yeah.
And we were cruising around, and one of the guys felt the need to threaten to stab one of our guys in his car. Like,
is that the video that went?
It went pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is when we first met and we had our
Maybe.
first conversation.
Yeah.
Of me coming up to you and asking you, "Hey, man, what was this about?"
Yeah.
And then we started talking.
So that was part of that was part of the Cars and Coffee Folsom guys, and it wasn't.
What
we
would
didn't
trigger
even know.
something like that?
That's the thing.
That's a
like,
grown man saying something
100%.
like that in public out loud.
I don't know if he was drunk. I don't know if but that is the negative attention that sometimes supercars bring. Just is what it is.
I mean, it does trigger people's insecurities.
Maybe
If someone is not very, respectful or is not clean inside themselves,
Maybe.
in the sense that they're jealous.
Yeah.
Because jealousy is very big, and not a lot of people process that.
I don't process that way.
Yeah.
I don't. I think,
But not a lot of people.
No, I
don't
get
see
it, and I've seen it. You see the middle fingers, but we see way more thumbs up and smiles and everything else than the middle finger, right? Which is cool. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the pinnacle things that truly showed their
caliber.
Yeah, is when you're at an event that we paid to be there, and that's getting donated to the Auto Museum. Mm-hmm. Each one of us paid to go in.
Oh, so when you guys go to that event, you pay to attend?
Yeah. I don't remember. It's $50, whatever, $60, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Every car that's there pays to enter, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the Auto Museum.
Yeah.
And we're on our lap, and I remember going the first lap and hearing somebody saying something. I couldn't, whatever. There's so many people, and you come around and he's, F you and this and that, and
I don't know where there was no previous interaction.
I was the lead car, and he just F you, right? And he, about 3 cars in, I think it really pissed him off that he just wasn't getting any engagement, and felt like this one guy who was with his wife in the car, they were just part of our group in their Porsche. He leaned down and said, "How about I effing stab you?" I think is what he said. Or I'm gonna effing stab you, or something like that. Some threat.
With his wife next to him.
Literally on his wife's window side. Yeah. And I think that we didn't know, because we're all in our own cars, right? Until we parked, and then at that point we told Euro Sunday, and we told the Auto Museum, if that's how they're going to promote their event, that we weren't going to come back. And the Auto Museum, I think that's when they were like, "This is enough. It's enough." Euro Sunday kind of took it into their own hands. I think that they could have made it a little bit more of a stance on it, but Cars and Coffee Folsom quickly backpedaled on, "Oh, that person was just a promoter," even though that guy's been at every event I've ever been to at that event, for them. And even at that point, that's when I feel like they should have come out of the woodworks and said, "Hey, let's talk about this," right?
Yeah, just as men and gentlemen,
Totally.
that live in the same area.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. It is what
And
it is.
drama
now.
happens, and people resolve
does.
their conflicts in their own ways.
Yeah.
And
I used to be part of this fishing group, and was friends with the guy that was the president of it. And there's another Northern California fishing group that does the exact same thing. And I went, "Gary, doesn't that bug you that there's two, competing?" He said, "No." I said, "Whoa, why?"
Competing for what?
Competing for registrations and events and membership and to do the same thing, right? And he said, "No." And I was like blown away. I'm like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" He's like, "It takes 2 different groups, 3 different groups to really fit the need for individual people." So he's like, I couldn't, nor could anyone do an event or a group or a club that makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
And so it totally made sense to me at that point. You know, it's like they can do their thing, we can do our thing. But that's where 916 came about. When they started kicking our group out of Cars and Coffee Folsom, Ollie said, "Screw it, I'm going to build my own." And he did. You know, and and that was a few years ago. So.
Oh, so a lot of development has been happening recently.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just showed up like around a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought this stuff has been going on for a long time. It's just been, you know,
it literally, you
talking
know,
to
like
people.
2019, you had Euro Sunday and Cars and Coffee, Folsom.
Okay.
It was in Claudia. That was about it.
Really?
So like, yeah, every Saturday you could go to Euro or Cars and Coffee, and then the fourth Sunday, Mike's always had it on the fourth Sunday, would be Euro Sunday. And you'd have some of the older cars still go to Cars and Coffee, but a lot of the exotics, a lot of the Euro stuff, they'd all go to Euro Sunday because he moved around. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but now it's so.
Now there's a new event just about every week.
It is.
Yeah.
But so to go back to where we started with with 916, we would drive to Euro Sunday, or we would drive to Cars and Coffee.
Just as friends.
Just as buddies. So we would meet in Granite Bay, at the Rayleigh's in Granite Bay. There was like 4 of us. My business partner, Mike, John Moore, buddy Mike Boyd. That was pretty much that was the start of it. You know, it was the 4 of us. And it was really weird because you'd show up and people would be like,
yeah,
I want to go with you guys. Where are you guys going? What are you doing? You know, I want to go as a group, because typically you wake up, you kiss the wife or girlfriend goodbye, and you get in the car and go to Cars and Coffee by yourself, right? But now it's like, oh shit, now there's 4 supercars showing up in a group, right?
It's a scene.
So before I knew it, you know, we'd have a dozen. John has a really cool ranch up in Lincoln, North Lincoln. And so one day, I don't remember if we were leaving an event or there was nothing going on or something to that nature, and we were like, oh, let's drive up to the ranch. So
after the event?
Maybe. I don't remember the detail of it.
Yeah.
But we drove to the ranch. That was our goal. We were going to the ranch. And but I remember driving there going, this is it. This is way better than going to a parking lot and hanging out. Like buddies ripping up, you know, these little roads and just the camaraderie with it. To go to this beautiful place that there's no one else really around to bug you, and you can kind of do whatever you want to do. That's a cool vibe. And so we started doing more of that. Like I don't know the details of, you know, that was in 2020. I can remember that was 2020 had a lot of dumb things with it for COVID and everything else. But the lack of people out in the world was awesome. We went to Car Week. We made our own Car Week because Car Week was shut down.
And Monterey Car Week wasn't happening.
Yep.
Okay, so what did you guys do?
We just went down and did the same things that we normally would. Like we cruised around.
Yeah.
There were some restaurants open. The hotel was, I mean, probably the same cost. I think it was only a few $100, you know, for the whole. We went from Wednesday to Friday. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah. Nowadays they're like 10x the prices.
Yeah,
minimum.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So you still did your own thing.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't.
You know, it's just we went and hung out at all the overlooks and went to Spanish Bay for lunch and that was kind of like one of my things. And I'm like, because I just got the Ferrari and COVID happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? Like I want to go to Car Week.
Yeah.
And I got the group and I'm like, oh, fuck, let's go. You know, like let's do it.
And you guys weren't buying any of the propaganda or the lockdown or any of that stuff?
Yeah. That wasn't us. And that's, you know, that's wasn't my belief, you know, as far as I think pretty much everything's been proven at this point now. It doesn't need to be discussed, but
it's a conspirace fact, not a theory at this point. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I didn't know that about you. I'm very happy to know that.
Well, and during the in October of 2020, I did our very first event called the Garage Tour. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have some really cool friends with really cool car collections, with really cool houses.
All in this area here?
And all in Placer County.
Okay.
And so I got 4 of them to say yes for us to get, I think there was like 40 cars. And this was just a free, like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know, like I didn't even think about having water at the houses. You know what I mean?
You just wanted to bring people together.
I just wanted to
with
bring
their
people
cars.
together to show them cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it worked, and people loved it.
And where was that?
So we did a ranch. We did John's Ranch.
That was the first place for the first event.
Well, it's actually our first location for Super Sunday as well, but it was also our first stop on the garage tour. So
the garage tour Super Sunday started as the garage tour.
No, Super Sunday was a different event after the garage. So I did the garage tour.
Okay.
It's the 1-day thing in October. It was actually October 31st.
Okay. So that was your first event that you make?
Ever, yep.
Okay.
And I had no idea what, I just invited a bunch of people, and a bunch of people told a bunch of people, and it was COVID, and nobody was doing anything.
Yeah.
So we did the ranch, and we did Perry's house, and then we did our buddy, Ron's house, and then our buddy Ethan's house. I think that was it. And then we ended up at this warehouse here in Roseville, but for lunch. But it was just as cool. Mm-hmm. It was like the camaraderie. Everybody enjoyed it. You got to see cool properties that you normally wouldn't see. And my buddy John, he's an entertainer. He just likes having people. He likes having people at his house. He's built some amazing properties.
John
and he
Moore.
likes to share. Yeah, he likes to share it with people. And the ranch is, it's a vibe, Mm-hmm. It's so like you can't really understand it until you're there. It's super private. You'd have no idea where it is, and we could do pretty much whatever we wanted to do. So I went to him and I'm like, "What if we did a party at your place?" And he's like, "Okay." And then I go, "Could we do a rev off?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!" Because that was, during that time, that was when Cars and Coffee was was pissed at us for no revving and this and that, So it was kind of like a thing for me, and I'm like, screw it, let's do our own event.
Yeah. With our own rules.
With our own rules, where there really wasn't much rules.
Yeah.
People paid a minimal amount. Lost my ass on it, but I had no idea. I'd never thrown a party for 200 people and 80 cars. I had no idea. Ran out of food and didn't have enough bathroom. All the things that you learn, right?
Logistics and event coordination and whatnot.
Yeah, stuff you don't even think about.
It's a lot that goes into it.
It is, but it was fun, and it was, it was very rewarding for me to do that. And
rewarding in what way?
Well, from the beginning, I always felt like this group of guys or these group of car owners could do more than just an event or just show up to somewhere, right? So my son has autism, and when he was diagnosed at 3, he'll be 12 now. I didn't know anybody that had a kid with autism. I didn't know what the hell to expect. Autism has such a wide variety of spectrums, to where it's like, is he ever going to talk? Is he ever going to handle himself? Is it all that type of stuff, right? Yeah. And as a dad, it's heavy, So it's like, if I can have someone to talk to about it, even if it's just a quick 2-minute conversation, and so I made that kind of our mission, is autism awareness, right?
That's why you had that sticker on your car.
That's the autism awareness kind of thing, and it's kind of evolved from there. As far as like the first year we did it, I thought we were going to be able to raise a bunch of money for the Mind Institute, and I lost money. I came out of pocket. I think I donated. I don't even remember.
Lost money in terms of making the event.
From the event, yeah, because my plan was sell the tickets. And then take some of the proceeds to donate it to the Mind Institute. Because I'm not a charity. It's not a 501c3. It's an LLC, but we work with charities, and that's the focus, right? And then I donated whatever I donated to the Mind Institute, and you get this letter in the mail. It's like you're not even a drop in the sea to the Mind Institute. They're huge.
What was that about, the Mind Institute?
What
are
is
they?
UC Davis. They do a lot of research and study on why autism is the way that it is, and how, I don't know if it's necessarily like how to fix it, but to understand it a little bit better. How do we help people with autism make their lives better and more understood? But they're huge. I mean, it's just, it's a huge machine, right?
Do you think, I don't want to say the words so that we don't get this censored too much. Do you think it has anything to do with what may be injected into the body at a young age?
You know,
just like what happened in 2020?
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny because, and maybe this is just me, so I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for other parents, but at this point, I don't really care why.
You just want to solve it.
I want to understand, and I mean, if there was a cure for him, yes, I would love to explore that, right? But he is who he is. As quirky as he is who he is, you know. And I don't know what he would be like if he didn't have his quirks, right? So it's like you have to appreciate. And that guy, my son, has taught me more patience and love, unconditional love, than anyone else has ever taught me. You know, like and I don't think if he
How
did
so?
it. Well, patience, you have to have patience when, you know, he's kicking and screaming or isn't fully potty trained at age 6 or whatever, you know. Unconditional love is, with him, it doesn't really matter. He, you know, and this is probably common for most people with autism. They react off of how you react to them, right? So if you're showing them love and respect and the words are matching your energy, they are all in. They love you to no extent.
They mirror
It's not
you.
a conditional thing. It's not a transactional thing. It's true and pure. You know, it's something that they might hear somebody say something bad about you, but their decision is made on how you show up to them. So it's kind of the purest form of love, right? It's not, oh, well, he did say that, but he's buying me this, so it's okay, right? Like it's not, that's not the way that they are. They are very factual, very white and black.
I mean, in a way, that's a lot more respectable
100%.
than
It's something that
other
everybody
people
can learn.
that we could consider normal.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, what is normal?
Yeah.
That's something I'd always, you know, think about when I was younger that made me take the decisions that I did to do the things that I did.
Yep.
Is what's normal for you is not my normal, is not her normal, is not the other person's normal across the world.
Yep.
So who decided or dictated what the standard is?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think there are things that there's things that we are mandated to do to put our kids into school and whatnot, you know, whether it's from injections or whatever it is.
And that's a very big problem.
That's a big problem, and I don't know whether it's causing it or increasing it or boosting it. You know what I mean?
Both.
Or both. But we don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other
Discussion.
conversation that I'm not educated enough in to go down that road.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's healthy as a parent to worry about the what if, you know, something that you can't change, right? I got a lot of worries about him, you know, for the future and the present. It's not healthy energy to what could have been different. You know?
No, what happened. We can't change the past,
Totally.
but how we can navigate the present and help others that are going through similar things is very valuable.
So as we've evolved with the autism awareness thing, the last couple of years I've really gotten more into like mental health, men's mental health. The most impactful experiences for me with this whole 916 Exotics thing is I've had dads come up to me one-on-one. Some of them I have never met or don't, you know, have only seen or be a photographer that I don't really know intimately or whatever, you know, and I think I'm sometimes their very first human being that they have said, I think my child has autism. And it
because of the
gives me
awareness
chills
that
just
you've
even
raised.
thinking about it, because I think it's just no one else has any clue what it's like to have a kid with autism until you're another parent with autism. You have no idea what it's like to buy your 5th iPad in 6 months or your 4th TV in a year. It's autism. Or changing diapers for your 8-year-old. You know, like it's just, or never hearing your kid say I love you at 10. You know, these are all things. Unfortunately, you know, my guy, he's pretty good. You know, he's at the higher spectrum of it, communicates. But we went through the first four plus years of him not saying a word, and that's taxing for a parent because your kid's pissed and he's crying and they're frustrated because you have no idea what they want. And at 4, he should be able to easily communicate with it. And I've got 2 other daughters who were pretty easy. And so you're like, Jesus, this is really, really frustrating.
For everybody involved.
Everybody involved.
Yeah.
And the stress isn't understood until it's with another parent, you know, and that's been a cool experience for me, is to be able to just have that sounding board and to
not feel like you're alone.
No, and it's also just, some people have no idea where do I start? I think my kid has this. What the hell do I do? You know? Go see a doctor as early as you can. That's always my biggest recommendation. Start reading up on how you can help your kid. But that's been one of the most rewarding things for me, is being able to communicate with other people about autism with their personal experience, you know? We've been really blessed with working with Shine with Purpose, which is a very local charity. That was one of the goals that I went after the first Super Sunday. This will be our 6th Super Sunday. After the first one, in my experience with the Mind Institute, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't doing enough locally, boots on the ground kind of stuff. So I wanted to find a charity that did that. Mindy with Shine with Purpose she's a dream to work with. She has more energy than I wish. Yeah, I would never have enough as much energy as she has for what she's trying to do. But she puts the money and the purpose back local. She helps local schools for autism. She helps local mothers who, you know, need to get out of abusive relationships, or homeless people, or, you know, local, like Placer County, Sacramento, people that we see, and their kids go to our schools, and all those type of things.
You see an actual result happening.
And that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah. So Super Sunday and these events that you started were for you to help raise awareness and charity.
You know, it evolved into that. Super Sunday, the very first Super Sunday, was kind of a personal challenge for me to see how many cool car people I can get to do an event with a similar vibe to the Quail at Car Week, right? Because it kind of all comes back to that, right? On the grass, private, more exclusive, everything's included kind of a scenario, right? It's like, you pay your ticket and you're on that grass and you have your car parked, go enjoy your day, you know, like enjoy the car community. That's why I call it an automotive experience as opposed to like a car show or something else like that, because it's weird. Like I get, you know, it's funny, like I wish I could go to Super Sunday.
What do you mean?
Well, like I get home and I after
go to Super Sunday as
just
as a
Joe
participant.
Schmo, you know? Every year I get home and I sit down and I have my first cigar after Super Sunday, and I'm just exhausted and I'm more than likely sunburnt and my feet are tired, you know. And I look at it and I'm like, fuck, that was a cool event. I wish I could have gone, you know, because it's a totally different experience for me, you know. But sometimes I get to break away just for a quick few seconds. I always purposely like kind of distance myself just to get the overall feel of the event. I'm not there to party. I think that's where a lot of event promoters go wrong. They're there, you know, they want to be part of it and in it and drinking and being with their buddies. It's not your day. It just isn't. You're here to work. You're here to provide a service for a customer that paid their way. And your reward is in other things. If your reward is in partying with someone and making the money on it, this ain't it. Like, you know, car things are just not your jam.
So you, as the event organizer and founder and planner, talk to us a little bit more about what goes into it.
Well, the first and one of the biggest challenges is location.
So it's not the same place every year?
I try not to make it the same place. It was the same place for the first 5 years or 4 years. We moved last year. The event is withheld until 24 hours before the location of the event is withheld until 24 hours of the event.
That's part of the experience.
It's part of the fun, the mystery.
Yeah.
I have some people that they get really irritated about it, but it is what it is, right?
So just to organize their logistics and whatnot.
And I just don't want. It's less conversation, you know. It's like if it's. I don't want the issue of having somebody trying to sneak in and just that uncomfortable kind of conversation about it. And
So that's the philosophy behind it.
privacy of the owners. That's the other thing. I've been really lucky to work with two people that have been really supportive and really liked the idea of the event. So that's the start. That starts summer. The event's done in May. Summer, I'm already starting to work on potentials for another location or whatever, right? And then it comes into the registration, the direction for the event that particular year. Last year, my goal was to try to get as many cars as possible. This year, I'm pulling it way back, and I want to go a little bit more intimate, spread out a little bit more. Last year we had something, I think, on property about 180 super and hybrid cars. This year we'll have less.
Okay.
We'll see what the total is. But
Less quantity, more quality, or does it really matter?
it's all about quality. Yeah. And not car quality. People quality. That's what it's all about for me. I say this to anybody, like some people would be like, oh, I'm bringing a hypercar. Can I get a deal or can I get it free? No, nobody gets a deal. Nobody gets in free. Contrary to whatever else, every sponsor that's there, they paid their way. Every car that's rolled onto the grass, they paid their way.
If you got a hypercar, why are you still asking for a deal or a discount?
You would be amazed. Those are the worst ones, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not saying everybody. There's some uber generous. Probably one of the most known hypercar collectors in our area is Jeff. Jeff is super generous with the group, and he's always down to do different things. So I'm not pinpointing anybody. I'm just saying that you'd be surprised as a whole, more hypercar owners are looking for the deal just because they have the car. This isn't the event for them. This isn't. I don't care. I'm not over the top bougie. I don't throw my events over the top bougie. I want people that are cool people that I like hanging around. And that's kind of where 916 is. I call it juggling type A's, right? Like it's all egos, it's all business owners. They're all used to being in charge. So it's all about finding the cool group. In reality, our group of, our core 20, 30, 916 guys, there's really no reason on paper why we all should be friends. Like at all.
What do you mean?
Well, because everybody's different industries, different levels of life, different stages of kids. You've got some who are in their 30s with or 40s with a 6-month-old, and then you've got other ones that are in their 60s that their kids have been gone for a while. You know what I mean?
And what would you say unites you?
Me and the cars. I mean, really, it's that common nucleus to kind of keep bringing the group together and doing fun stuff, and it's evolved. The car culture as a whole in the last 6 years, it is so different than what it was in 2020. 2020, you one text message and you'd have 30 guys that want to go out and do car stuff. Now it's like it's a challenge. I think it goes back to CHP presence.
It's a challenge in terms of people wanting to show up.
Yeah, getting people to go out and do driving events and do stuff like that. People are busy. They're traveling. Everybody's on the Instagram experience thing right now. So that's big. Cars are getting more expensive. So
just overall,
it's just
life
everything. Yeah,
and
life.
It's politics
it's an
and
evolution.
War and,
it just really is. It's harder to do events. It's harder to do larger groups, to travel with supercars without police presence. So it's a challenge.
How do you see the community navigating the police presence, or how can we collaborate and have less friction with police, you'd say?
I personally feel that they will find their way in okay, that's a good question. I would have to say the first thing that comes to my mind is they will go too far before they find their center. What that means, I don't know. I think we're getting pretty close because I'm all for them stopping and preventing the sideshows and the donuts and, you know, people getting hurt. And
anything that's genuinely reckless and can put people in danger, totally understandable. And in a certain way, me, for example, when I ride my bike, I appreciate if the CHP is you know, keeping the environment safe for people that ride bikes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when, for example, they take it a little bit overboard or start harassing people, then it's a completely different scenario.
Totally, 100%. And that's, I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close to them going too far. I don't know what...
We're getting close to them going too far?
Yeah.
Okay. And how would you... Because I'm pretty sure some of them are going to be watching this.
Yeah.
How would you
and
speak
don't get
to
me
them
wrong,
in a way...
It's funny. I did a post. We did a drive, one of my favorite drives. I'm not going to disclose where exactly we go because I don't want to burn it.
Yeah.
But we did a drive, and we were in a couple different counties, right? We had an interaction with Placer County Sheriff, and we had an interaction with Yuba County Sheriff. Both were cool as hell. The Placer County Sheriff gave us the peace sign as he drove by us with, I think there was 11 or 12 of us, you know. The Yuba County Sheriff, we had just parked for brunch, and he came in following one of the last guys pulling in, and you know, you never know. You never know if it could be an asshole or cool. I have had way more cool cop interactions than I've had asshole interactions. Some of them, I think, create a picture in their head, and Jesus Christ, being a cop right now, what a tough job. I mean, just, you know, Placer County, I think that the predominant consensus is everybody's pro cops, right? But you have some counties that they aren't. You know, they just are not. They don't see the police in a positive manner. And maybe that's personal experience. Maybe that's department. Whatever. My personal.
There's
experience.
a lot of layers to it.
Oh, so many layers.
Because even for me, in certain geographical locations, I would be highly against the mafia dressing up in a costume pretending to be cops. But in a place like California, I've honestly had a very positive experience with them, which, you know, at a certain point, I started reassessing my own judgments. I'm like, okay, I mean, if a cop does his job professionally and he's doing X, Y, Z, that's arguably one of the most noble jobs he could be doing, and it's extremely valuable. But at the same time, when you look at it in a different way, they could be some of the worst people you'll ever deal with, and that's been some of the experiences I've had outside of America. You know, some things that you see and experience, you can't not switch gears against them. You know, that's why I really appreciate the police here in general, even though, of course, there's going to be some bad experiences.
They're doing their job for the most part, right? And that's like, I don't really have a problem with the ones that are doing their job. Like, you know, you pulled me over.
And they're very appreciated too.
Pull me over and I'm doing 90 miles an hour. Okay, I was doing 90 miles an hour. I'm not arguing that fact, right? That's not the guy that's the problem. The guy that's the problem is the one that pulls over a group of 11 who lied.
That's a move. That's
about how they did it. But that's the negative connotation about cops, right?
Yeah.
He was not a good example for the rest of the cop community, right?
And one thing I've noticed here in America is that they really do try to regulate when that happens in terms of checking that officer. I mean, I've only been here for 2 years, so I'm not really in a position to make the final judgment or say what's what. But from my presence here and my travels all over the world, you know, I respect the police here.
Yeah, I do, 100%. I do too. And you know, we have, like I said, I can't.
Even though I've also had bad experiences with CHP a couple times. And the first time I ever got handcuffed in my entire life was here in California by a CHP officer.
A street bike?
And it was extremely unnecessary.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He was being very, he was having an ego trip. And
that's where you see most of it go wrong, right? Is that the egos, and then it starts butting heads. And ultimately, they do have the ultimate power on the street at that given time. Whether it's right or wrong, he has more power than you. It just is what it is. Because you're not going to put him in handcuffs. But more than likely, he can put you in handcuffs, or he or she, right?
And outside of America or in different circumstances, you know, that cop could be putting his life in danger depending on who he's dealing with.
Well, but I also feel that that's a risk that they run here every day as well.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
And everywhere.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, I just.
Because at the end of the day, we're humans, regardless of what you're
That's
wearing.
the thing.
You know?
Everybody has bad days.
Yeah.
Everybody has this shit where you just,
Yeah.
you know, you just lost it, right?
Yeah.
And cops are no different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel like we can talk about cops for a pretty long time.
For too long.
Yeah.
Super Sunday is kind of the pinnacle from 916 Exotics. It's kind of what has kind of elevated us to kind of put Northern California, Sacramento car culture, I feel like, for the supercar and exotics on the map.
And you most definitely have done that.
Yeah. And it's a cool experience. You know, it's just it's a passion project for me for sure. You know, it takes a lot of time away from my life, and but I enjoy the hell out of it. Fortunately, I have a very supportive girlfriend that, you know, she's all in it for me. You know, and she kind of, whether she wants to or not, just kind of becomes my assistant sometimes. And, you know,
what does she help you with?
The scheduling, logistics, and also just that female touch that, you know, like, I don't know, sometimes, you know, as a guy, as a car guy, I'm like, well, there's tables. What, you know, why do you need centerpieces, and why do you need this, and why do you need that? You know, it's so it's good. It's good perspective, and you know, you need that female perspective to,
for sure, to keep things balanced, masculine and feminine. You gotta, you know, have the balance between them.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's coming up May 17th, so we're almost there. So, you know, and
if someone watching this wants to attend, how would you guide them through that process?
Typically, we sell it every year, whether it's a couple weeks before the event, or, I mean, a few years ago, we had one time that I think we were like 3 or 4 weeks before the event. I had to cut it off.
It was completely sold out.
Because I have a number in my head of where I want to go, and then, you know, space also. Like, you can only park so many cars on grass, and you know, you start buying food for 400 people, and it, you know, it just becomes a lot. But a lot logistics, not money wise. But if they wanted to, you can go to 916exotics.com, click on Super Sunday, and you can register there as long as your car meets the criteria. There's a seat for you. So.
And what is the criteria?
Exotic, super, and hypercar. So define exotic. That's kind of the biggest gray area, right? I love the C8. I think it's a cool car. It's not an exotic.
A lot of guys are not going to be happy about that.
It is. It just is. It's a great car. It's a sports car. I just don't see it as being uber exotic.
Especially since we're in America itself.
Yeah. I mean, the new C8 we're getting really close. Like, it's really hard to, you know, like we were just walking out of dinner a few days ago, and I could hear this car, you know, in the background, and I'm like, oh, it's a 458. And I look around, and I'm like, oh, it's the new C8, you know? And it's crazy because it already looks like a Ferrari. Yeah. Now it sounds like a Ferrari with that flat plane crank, you know? Yeah. No Mustangs, no Corvettes, no GTRs, that type of stuff. So, pure exotic supercar and hypercar. We have a lot of 911s, a lot of McLarens. It's funny, when I bought my McLaren in 2020, nobody really had McLarens. Now their McLarens we were very McLaren heavy in this area. So
and that's what you have, right?
Yeah.
What cars do you have in your garage at this moment?
So I keep it very simple.
Yeah.
I've had upwards of 12 cars in my collection at one time. And I've really gone through this period of happiness, keep life simple. Every so often I think, you know, I'm about ready for a new car, you know, just because there's so many options, so many cool vehicles. But when I drive that car, I'm like, this is freaking perfect. Like, I just, you know, it's not the highest end model, but the funny part about McLarens is the delta from the 570 to whatever, a 765 LT. P1's kind of at a different level, but say 765
P1
LT.
would be the hyper version, and then everything else is super.
They're kind of close.
Yeah.
They're really close. Like, you get in a Huracan, and then you get in an Aventador, they're light years apart. The sound, the doors, the emotion, everything, right? You get in a 570, and then you get in a 765. And I'm not saying that they're the same car by any means, but I'm saying that the window is pretty close. you can tell you're in the same heritage vehicle. And for me, it's economics, and and I've got over 35,000 miles on my McLaren. Got most people would be like, "Holy crap! I can't believe that's lasted that far." Very little maintenance, or very little issues. I've had to do some maintenance on it.
A lot of people would say the opposite.
Yeah,
do you think
a
it's
lot of
because
people that
of the
have
way
never
you
owned a
drive
McLaren,
it? Yeah.
they've heard from stories, or they owned a McLaren that sat more than it drove. That's the key for McLaren is battery up, make sure that thing's moving and driving and the oil is circulating, and don't tune it. I think that's another big key.
Yours is very unique in terms of the livery you have.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
try. Yeah. I try to do something different every year. I don't know if I'm going to do something different for Super Sunday or not. That kind of depends. Diamond Auto and I work really close together. Mo's, he's a good friend of mine, but he does all of our vinyl and maintenance and stuff on that car. And I bought it with 4,000 miles from Mo. It's got 35,000 miles plus now. And I put most of those in the first few years. The first few years I was doing rallies all the time, like here to LA and LA to Vegas and everywhere in between. I probably put 20,000 miles on the first year and a half or so.
When you say rallies, what does that mean for somebody that is not familiar with it?
So rally is hands down one of my most favorite things to do in a car. And a rally is pretty vague. My definition of a rally is you have an organized group that's doing organized stops from one location to another, usually over a few hundred miles. Long distance, over days, kind of a scenario. You could do
over days?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you also organize where you're going to be
Hotel
sleeping.
stops, meals.
Okay.
Yep. And it's basically just trying to keep everybody together. Some rallies.
And are you all in communication with each other while you're
Sometimes,
driving?
Sometimes you have apps that are notifying you of cops or breakdowns or whatever, or routes to go. It just depends on how advanced and how organized the event is. Sometimes you're on your own for meals, but you have like a point A and a point B, and you figure out where you stop in the middle. Most rallies I've ever been on, you pretty much pick your group of 5 or 6 is pretty much the ideal amount of cars to run together. If everybody's equal or comfortable driving ability, because you can be pretty nimble. You can pull into a gas station and not take it over for 35 minutes with 5 cars. You can stop at another restaurant with 5 cars. 5 people deciding where to eat as opposed to 20, right?
Yeah.
Those type of things. That's typically how it works with a rally, and then you end up at a location and meet up with everybody. But it's just the camaraderie. It's just the funness of it. That's the miles, the experience of seeing things around. Again, it's not necessarily about the car or what car you're in, for me at least. It's about being in a car that you feel good driving. You feel that it can, it's capable of everything that you want it to do, and takes you to point A to point B.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
So let's circle back to the foundation of 916 Exotics.
Okay.
What did you establish in order to make it what it is today? So, for example, the logo, the branding,
So
the locations.
branding and creating a brand is probably one of my most favorite parts of marketing and business. I always liked the name. 916. It shows relation to 916 sort of for Sacramento. So it kind of always keeps us representing Sac, which is my home.
And when you say Sacramento, you mean the greater Sacramento area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 916,
Yeah.
right? And now it's 279 now, but it'll forever be 916 in my mind, right?
Yeah. And for everybody watching internationally, this is the area code for your phone number.
Yeah. So that's where.
Did you make the logo yourself, or did you hire someone, or
I think
what's the story behind that?
that's a good question. I've been fortunate with having Sinister. We pretty much always have at least one graphic designer on staff at all times. So it might have been. I usually like to give examples, and then let the creative do their creative, right? Like that's why you have them. So my guess is I don't remember the details of it, but that's my guess on how it started was, here's some samples or examples of what I like. You do your thing, give me 3, and then we'll pick one. Right?
That's good.
So that's kind of how I like to work with everything.
You directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it's just, you waste so much time if you don't give direction to people, especially a creative person, because it's not fair. It's not fair for you or them, you know?
Very entrepreneurial of you.
Yeah.
And considerate, because not all bosses would look at it that way.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I even feel bad sometimes, like, going back to them and go, oh, man, I really wanted this line to be here, or can you change this or something? You know, sometimes I get over it. You know, sometimes we have Dee who does our graphics here, and you know, she's like, dude, I work for you. You tell me whatever you need. You know, it's like, so it's good, but it's also, I feel bad, but you know, but the creativity side of it, I wanted an identity, I wanted a brand to it.
I'm guessing you're quite a nice person to work with.
You know, it depends on, you'd have to ask who it is, right?
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, if you're being very kind with your designer and whatnot, I mean, it gives a gauge. Yeah.
It's you know.
And I see a lot of the videos that you post on Sinister's page. There's a lot of fun. You hire a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
I see a lot of activity and energy.
They have a lot of good time. It's you know, they do stuff that I don't have time to.
Yeah.
They have really.
And the fact you even give the space and you accept that.
Well, that's what we hired them for. You know what I mean? Like, we hired them to be their creative. We dial it in every so often. We reel it back. You know, like we had a conversation.
Well, that's leadership.
Today, about, you know, they were like, well, what about this? And I'm like, how about we dial it back, like, you know, half, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, let's do this, and we collaborate on some of it. But again, that's some of my favorite part of it, you know, is interacting with the people. I really wish that, like, and maybe this will be at some point. That's my vision for 9/16 or Super Sunday, is to do enough events to have a staff, you know, just not a ton of staff, but just a staff to where I can do what I like to do, and what I'm good at is marketing it and networking it and being in front of the people. Honestly, and you'll see if anybody's been to Super Sunday before that is watching this, 99% of the people that roll in with a car, I'm there greeting them. And I love that. Like, that makes my day. You know, like, I feel like the people, they've spent money to come to this event, at the very least, I want to meet them. I want to see them. I want to see the name with the face. And if I don't know you, most time, if I got the time, I'll ask you your name. And at the very least, you know, I'm a car guy, associate a name with the car. I might not remember your face or a name, for that matter. I might remember your face with the car, but that is what it is, you know, and it's important to me. It's all about the people. That's really what it is. It's just about the people. The cars are just the vessel, like I said.
Yeah.
You know?
So exotics wouldn't just be for exotic cars, could be exotic humans.
That's true. That is true. I get asked that, like, there's some people that they think that it's like a reptile thing. And I didn't even think about that. And I think I was in a grocery store.
Why did they go towards reptile?
That must be just their scope, right? Like, they might be into that, because I think that is an industry term, is for exotic animals. So I don't know. I mean,
what came to my mind when you said reptiles, like reptilian, but why would they?
I think exotic animals is kind of where they were going with it, but So that's 9/16 Exotics is just a name that came together for me to represent our area and to show what we do. So.
All right, let's circle back to Monterey Car Week.
Okay.
When was the first time you ever went, and how was your experience like?
20. I think it was 2019. I went.
How did you even find out about it?
My business partner went the year before. You know, just being around the exotic cars, you kind of knew. I knew about it, but I knew nothing about it, right? Like, I knew of it, but I didn't know anything about it. And it's kind of a little blurry. I don't remember if we went. I feel like we went in 2019, and then
with your own car, or at that time?
In the Ferrari, in the 458, and then I think I went back for 2020. That was when we just did our own thing.
So you got the same thing with getting an idea of the event and then doing your own here.
Yeah,
nice.
It got pulled away, and then then we were like, well, screw it, let's just do our own thing.
Yeah.
I knew what we did, right?
Yeah.
And it was fun. Like, it was just a good memory. And that was, it's funny. Like, that was that was one of the first times in a long time I could remember driving back, going, what is this overwhelming feeling? And it was happiness, right? Like, it just was just hanging with the boys, doing cool car stuff. And that's when I realized how kind of important and integral the car community is for me. And, I don't think that, although some days I'm like, I could just hang up the keys and not go to another, car event. But I'd be lying to myself. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the old car stuff, the new car stuff. I enjoy it all. So,
what keeps you going back to these events?
Camaraderie. I think, Car Week's a different vibe. Car Week is the camaraderie as well. But Car Week itself, Monterey and Carmel itself is, I like the coast, I'm an Aquarius, and so it's just water, just feeds my soul. So the coast is, that coast, Central Coast there is some of the best coast we have, I think, prettiest in California. So that's one of the biggest things. The people, the location, it's just really nice to get out of the 100+ degree weather in August and go down there and do cool car stuff, and you really become numb. It's not even really about the cars again. It's just, you do 1 car week or 2 car weeks, and it's just, there's insanity. Like, it doesn't, it's just, you see 10 Koenigseggs, like we were coming back from Big Sur, and we ended up being in a group with them with, some big photo shoot with 12 different Koenigseggs. And this was the year that the Esco was released, and it just was cool. You don't get that anywhere else in the world, but the camaraderie, supporting my buddies and their visions, like the 916 CNC this weekend. It's like, man, I could have easily slept in and just gone and done brunch with the boys, or with the group, but we went, supported, and I know that it matters to a lot of people that are there too. They want to see supercars or cars that they don't normally see. We're very spoiled in the fact of there isn't a lot of cars that are out there that we haven't seen in this area, or in in Northern California at least. It's pretty wild when you really think about it. When you still get that experience of somebody that's never sat in a McLaren or been around a McLaren or something. We just last week we were at dinner, and this kid comes up and he's like looking at the car. Can I look at the car? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's 11 or 12 or something.
At an event?
No, it was at dinner.
Oh, while you're at the restaurant.
Yeah, we were at dinner. We just got out, and he came over with his mom. And she was like, oh, he loves McLaren. He had a McLaren shirt on. I'm like, you want to sit in? He's like, really? And he first was reluctant. And then I'm like, yeah, sit in there. You can't break anything, And he sat in there, and Mom took a picture. And you could sit, she was crying.
Oh,
kind of tears. She's like, oh, it's his 11th birthday today. And I'm like, I had no idea. I just like seeing that, right? I never sat, I think maybe the first supercar I had ever sat in was my own. Maybe a buddy of mine before I got it. But I was 38. Before I sat in a supercar. If you could do that in 11, what could that boost his mentality to do in life?
Yeah, it's a different level of exposure.
It's a totally different level of exposure.
Opens
totally
the horizons
level of goals.
Yeah,
and makes things obtainable, right? That think that they aren't obtainable. And I think that was one of the things for me. It was like, I never really grew up thinking, oh, I would own a Ferrari, or McLaren wasn't even around when I was growing up, but I never thought about, I'd own a supercar until you're around it. Then you're like, oh, well,
it's obtainable.
If I did this, I can do that, and I could, then I can have it, right?
A lot of people don't have that mentality for some reason.
No.
They genuinely believe that they are capped at this specific criteria.
Yeah, we did an event at a school in South Sac, and they basically brought the classes out. I don't even remember how many classes there were, or if it was like an elementary school, I think it was. And I remember this one kid who was just sitting on the bench, just like kind of arms crossed, just closed, not really pouting, but just like he didn't give a shit. Like he didn't care. He was there, I'm like, what's up, man? What, you don't want to go sit? He's like, I'll never own one of those. I'm like, whoa, like just like that. You know what I mean? Like he had it in his mind. There was no me convincing it.
Yeah.
I think I might even say, oh, don't say that. He's like, no, I'll never own one of those. And I'm like, whoa, like that's...
He's been heavily programmed.
100%. Yeah, by the system or by his parents or
his
maybe
environment.
generational, like it's the environment. But I don't, I think it's...
But a lot of people, even regardless of your environment or family, for me personally, when I see somebody that has something way beyond my current budget, I mean, he's a human. If he could do it,
it really
he has
comes
two
down
arms
to,
and one brain.
do you have the desire to push yourself to do that? Like, in my 30s, I was like, oh yeah, I could be a billionaire. I could see that. I could have yachts, and I can. Now that I'm in my mid 40s, I'm like, I don't know if I have that. I don't have that desire. Mm-hmm. I know that I don't have the drive to do what it takes to become a billionaire. It's just a different frame of mind, different goals in life, right? Like.
And sometimes it's also alignment and your mentality and how you operate and whatnot.
And the things that you're willing to sacrifice and not sacrifice. You know?
That, yeah. And what you would think is possible.
Yeah.
So some people, if you tell them that this could happen, they would reject it just because of the way that it doesn't fit in their realm of possibilities.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. And it's
that's why your presence, for example, at that school is way more than just you showing up with a nice car.
Yeah.
You're potentially unlocking an entire door or an entire version of reality.
If you can change one mind, that's why, like, I think it's cool to interact. I have kids, so it's, I get it. What if they're into something that's not a game or electronic, like, I'm all about it, right? If you can keep cars into kids' minds, it's important because the car community is changing in that aspect too, you know. But yeah, I think that it's very important to interact with the kids and go to the Cars and Coffees and and do those type of events just because it's good to give back.
And as a spectator, I mean, I can personally tell you that your presence is definitely appreciated.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. And I appreciate the people that I've met throughout this journey by going to those events and stuff. It's fun.
And on that note of people, how would you describe respect in the car community, and how can we cultivate more of that to keep things healthy? Because earlier you were mentioning how, some members of the community might be giving everybody else a bad reputation with what they do and whatnot. How would you clarify what respect would entail for the community?
Well, I think that that's a very multi-layered question or answer. I'll start at the highest level of like respect for like at an event or in the in a little bit more of a sub car culture kind of a thing. Like we'll say for example this past weekend at 916 right, the respect of not burning out, not taking off like a jackass, you know what I mean? Like being respectful to the environment, respectful to the person who put the event on, respectful to the business owners around that may want you or may not want you. You still have to be respectful to them, right? This is still kind of their area. They invited you. You are a guest. Nobody cares that you're coming through and being an ass and over revving. Like I think like
there's a certain
when you have
level.
that Revolto come in and no one's here to Revolto rev. And Sully's probably one of the most famous ones for doing it, or Mo too. But when they come in and rev a couple times and done. Like don't over rev. Don't sit there and do it all the time. Just be respectful. Give the crowd kind of what they want, but then just be respectful with it. It further goes into the people, right? Like be respectful to the other people. I can appreciate a BMW as much as I can appreciate a built old car as much as I can appreciate a supercar or hypercar, right? Or trucks or diesels or whatever. Being respectful for that, like just because you think your car is the best or the upper echelon of something, be respectful of someone else's project and work and dream and idea, because we all had that level of dream, at some point or another. Like I can remember when I had my Bronco and wish I had another vehicle or wish I had this old car, and then you had the old car and then you wish it was this caliber, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's, I think, a car guy's thing is always trying to upgrade and change and level up.
Or have diversity.
Or have diversity, yeah.
A truck and a supercar, a hypercar, and then, you know.
But you got to have, diversity is good for sure. You know, like, I'm not, I guess if you have different things for different purposes, like if you have a track car, your daily, show car, you know, that kind of stuff, that totally makes sense to me. And I'm just not in the economical spot to where I can justify that. I still have younger kids.
Priorities. You know, you have more important things to invest in.
I have other goals too. You know, like I want to do other things for myself, and maybe that'll be a goal at some point, but it's not a goal at this time. You know, so. And
you started off with your Bronco.
Yeah.
What was the next car after that?
So I sold.
What has your car journey been like?
Mostly trucks.
Okay.
It was heavy trucks, and then I kind of got into cars at the end. I didn't really have a car until I was in my 30s, probably.
You didn't have a car, you mean like an exotic car?
No, like a car, like a sedan, coupe, anything. It was always trucks or SUVs.
Oh, okay, okay.
That was just always my thing, right? I went from the Bronco to an actual H1 Hummer. That was really cool. At 18, that was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you stood out.
Pretty fortunate to have that. And actually, my dad and I had a blue one, he had a yellow one. So it was really cool.
Nice.
Cool time to have that together, and good memories together with that. They suck. They're horrible to drive. Super inconvenient in every aspect of it. Yeah. They're slow. They're
clunky.
And they're just, they just suck. But they're really cool in the same aspect to, like, if you had it as like a third or fourth or fifth vehicle, it'd be badass. Yeah. As a daily driver, horrendous. Yeah. I think, and then I went to like a Dodge diesel dually. And then I had, back and forth from like an SUV to a few different diesels to, to daily driving. Like I had Escalade. I've owned, with part of Sinister Diesel, you're kind of forced to go through different trucks. And I've owned pretty much every different kind of GMC, Dodge, Ford, you name it. I'm a Ford guy.
Do you cycle through cars a lot?
I used to. Now I don't. Yeah. You kind of get older and you're just like, fuck, it's a pain in the ass because you got to do this and you got to get that changed. And I just don't have the desire for it anymore, Like, I've had my Raptor since 2020. Love it. It's getting about time to where, probably need a new one. But even then, it's like, then you got to tint it and you got to do this. And, it's just, where's the reward versus the work that goes to it, So,
is it worth all the effort that you'd be
for what?
into?
For who? Yeah. I mean, if I feel like at some point I get in it and I'm like, man, this thing is breaking down, or this is convenient for me, or whatever, then I can understand it. It's not for anyone else. I don't really care, because it's, ultimately you kind of go through the point where it's just like, the new car smell is phenomenal. And like, that's the best part of it. But ultimately you get in and you're just like, it's a little better, So right now my daily's a Raptor and the McLaren is a second. So
that's a very good duo.
It works out good.
Yeah, you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I mean, I feel like
I probably should cut it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been having a very long conversation.
I know.
There's a lot more for us that we could discuss, but we could probably save that for another episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's end it off with some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
All right. Dream car, no limits.
Koenigsegg Jesko.
Okay. Most underrated car.
Ooh, McLaren 600 LT.
Okay. A car you'd never own again.
A car I would never own again. Probably the Mercedes. It was just blasé in every aspect of it.
Which Mercedes?
It was the AMG GTS.
Okay.
They look cool, but I think the second I would get in it, I'd be like, yeah, this is why,
Yeah. Okay, last one. This is more personal for you. How would you like to be remembered? You can take your time to think about it. If you
No, I think I think it's better to just shoot off the hip. I think fair, fun, and not only enjoyable to be around, but just a happy demeanor. You know, I think that's ultimately all anybody should really want to do is, you know, to be appreciated for adding value to everybody's life. You know, in a good, positive way. So,
Brian George, it's been.
You didn't ask me what the most overrated car is.
Well, what's the most overrated car?
Porsche GT3 RS.
Why?
Well, they're supposed to be rare, but everybody has them. Like, literally, Instagram is flooded with 3RSs.
Yeah.
I think that for the dollar that they are, they just doesn't compute in my mind.
How so?
I mean, is it a $500,000, $400,000, $500,000 car? I don't know. It's a Porsche. Like, I mean, it's a great car. It's point and shoot. I think it does a lot of things for a lot of people, but
and it looks amazing, especially with
the
the
new
body
3RS is sick. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds good. It's still only 500 and something horsepower, right? Like, it's not. I don't know. I think that it just. I think that it. There's other vehicles out there, and this is 100% my personal, because there's some guys that absolutely would die for the car and they own it, right? Like, I know a couple guys in the group, like, that is the car. They've sold McLarens because their 3RS is more than adequate to what they need, right? For me, I need that excitement. I need that car that demands respect.
How so?
If you
Or in what
do
way?
something stupid,
Yeah.
it will bitch slap you. In a Porsche, it will carry your ass to pretty much any situation that you'll ever need it to be in, right?
Okay. You mean in terms of like handling the car?
Out of control, yeah. Like it's just so good, right? I went back and forth on that or the Huracan because of the same kind of scenario, right? Like they're so good that they're so good and there's so many of them that it just, how do you make it unique? How does it make you feel? And that's just my opinion, right? Like, yeah, how's the car make you feel? I've tried to buy 3 different Porsches, and every time I get in, I'm like, it's great. I mean, the car is like phenomenal. Like you could beat the hell out of it. It turns on every turn that you'd ever need it to be. It's the ultimate twisty mobile, but it doesn't scare you. Maybe the new 3RS, I'm sure in the right situation on the right track, for sure.
Yeah.
But you get in a McLaren or the new Ferraris or something, like even the 458s and stuff, like they're a little bit more scary. They're less predictable. I guess that's the word I'm trying to look for. So
Okay. All right. I mean, this conversation can keep flowing for hours because there's a lot of other questions I wanted to ask you. For example, about 916, about the members, about how people can join and how people, interact with you and all that.
Well, let's see how this one goes, and then maybe we can do a post Super Sunday after you've gone and kind of experienced Super Sunday, and we can kind of talk a little more about that. So
reflect on the event, and then also ask deeper questions. And then for the people watching, if you guys have any questions for him, let him know in the comments, and then. And the next time we do it, we answer those questions.
Yep, please do.
All right. Well, on that note, Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure being here with you.
Yep.
And thank you for the time and hosting me at your place here to shoot this.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Good?
We're done.
Okay.
That was pretty good, man.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was like, "Are you okay?"
Time flew by. But you're a very good speaker. You're very eloquent. A lot of times people, they might either stutter or think too much or...
Well, it's funny, I almost said that when I